Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? How was Easter? Family, friends, lots of food? Good. It was a beautiful day. A gorgeous day. Well, welcome. We're going to reconvene our meeting at 6:36 p.m. We did have a closed session before this. I want to remind everyone that per the city's rules and decorum, members, speakers, and members of the audience, council members are to conduct themselves with decorum and not engage in conduct which interrupts the orderly conduct of the city council meeting. Also, public comment through Zoom may be accepted for the agenda items listed within the consent calendar, public hearing, and discussion calendar sections of the agenda. General public comments will be accepted at the meeting by those physically in attendance at the appropriate time. Tonight, we are very pleased to have Army veteran Theodore Lingle to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lingle, would you please come forward, sir?
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, military and veterans are allowed to do the hand salute. All others, please place your. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, you got your cards and everything there. Come on up. Come on up, soldier. Come on up. Well, good evening, Laverne. It's good to see everybody today with smiling faces, right? And happy places. I'm always honored to be in presence of veterans and those that have served and those that are still serving. Today we honor an amazing soldier and also you, sailor, can't forget. So, I mean, what an awesome opportunity to serve in two different branches. I mean, if it was really cool, you would have served in all three. Or four, and now even five. But nonetheless, you served. Less than 1% of our nation serves. Think about that for 1 second. Less than 1%. And we are here in honor and presence of Sergeant Langell. I got to make sure I say it right. I almost put a Y at the end of it. Ted. I know him as Ted, an amazing human being. So, enough about me. We'd love to hear about you. So, Sarge, tell us when you first enlisted.
Oh, my goodness. 1956. Most of you weren't even around. Oh, 1 year later. Good.
And did you enlist at the Army or the Navy first?
Well, actually, what I did was in 1956, I volunteered for the draft. This was a way of getting in for 2 years and getting my military obligation over with and have an opportunity. Well, I was very fortunate because it was after hadn't got fully in peacetime. My service was at the Presidio in San Francisco.
Nice.
6th Army Headquarters, Country Club of the Army. I was working, providing speech and visual aids for generals who were practicing being military because we didn't have an active war going on. Later on, I joined the United States Navy Reserve, and that was during Vietnam, but I was fortunate not have to do any fighting because I was in a surface unit, hardly knew what a ship was. We did know warfare, biological, chemical, and my position was an instructor to teach raw recruits how to. You have time to hear a story?
I was going to tell you, share with us.
Okay.
Share with us a story.
One of the fun things I did. I had to show these new recruits, I'll call them, how to give themselves an atropine injection in case they were subjected to chemical warfare. So I have a whole class in front of me, and it comes time to do this, to show this. And atropine is just a little syringe with a 1-inch long needle, and you're supposed to stick it in to you, and you're supposed to do it quick. I'd never done this before myself, so I had to demonstrate this. I thought I'd make it fun for these guys. So I stood up on a table, I took down my pen, after which I had revealed a set of red bloomers with fringes. They cracked up. By that time, I got enough nerve to shove that needle into myself, and then I had to bring them up. So that was the extent of my contribution to the war effort. Yeah.
Red. God bless you.
Thank you.
Go ahead and hold on. No, I gotta read it out loud there, soldier. I gotta call you Soldier Sailor. Okay. The City of Laverne certificate of recognition presented to Theodore Langell. This certificate presented on behalf of the Laverne City Council to Army veteran Theodore Langell with sincere gratitude and appreciation for your dedicated service to our country. God bless you, and God bless your family that's been very well supportive of you.
If you don't mind, I also have an award for you. Okay. Okay, this is actually a little, I thought, very inspirational dissertation, if you want to call it, or an essay on Laverne itself. Laverne is probably one of the premier cities to be a member of, to be here. We're all lucky to be here because it has the best of everything. It's not always number one, weather. All around Laverne, probably the finest places we have. Best weather, best lowest crime rate, all of everybody. So we're privileged, and I'm privileged to live here, and I to find out about that too.
I appreciate you. She's ready to go.
Roll call, Mr. Domer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Crosby.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Present.
Councilmember Lau.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Kashpagita.
Present.
Mayor Hepburn.
Present.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, would we have a closed session discussion? After closed session, you have something to report out?
I do, yes,
Attorney
thank
Hall Barlow.
you.
Thank you.
First, I want to report that Councilmember Johnson arrived at 5:36 p.m.
That would be late.
Just for the
but
record, but he had a really good excuse.
He brought cookies, though, so that's cool.
And secondly, on the opioid litigation matters, On motion by Councilmember Crosby, seconded by Councilmember Lau, and approved on a 5-0 vote, the city will participate in the settlements for what are known as the remnant defendants, and approve the city manager approving subsequent settlements by other manufacturers and distributors of opioids. And that is all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Attorney Barlow. Appreciate that. Tonight we have two presentations. First is the Outstanding Older American nomination, Jack Manziel. You'll be coming up in a second. I get to embarrass you now. I've personally known Jack for how many years? Our second house in Laverne was 3 years, and then the one on Cactus was probably 18 or 19. So it's been 40-plus years that I've known you. Yeah. Still look great, buddy. Thank you. The Senior Advisory Committee has nominated one senior citizen for the Older American Recognition Award. This recognition is part of the Los Angeles County Commission for Older Adults' annual Older Americans Recognition Day Awards program, which honors a senior citizen from each city in Los Angeles County. The Senior Advisory Committee nominated Jack Manziel as the city's outstanding older American. A round of applause, please. For that. Jack is a longtime volunteer of the Laverne Heritage Foundation. He joined the foundation in 2012 and has contributed countless hours to many major projects that enhance this historic park. Jack has been a vital part of our weekly maintenance and project group, better known as the Barn Boys. In recent years, Jack has spearheaded numerous projects, including refurbishing the Sloan Barn at Heritage Park while preserving the integrity of its interior. One of the most impressive projects was the renovation of the animal enclosure. And if you haven't been up to Heritage Park, the animal enclosure plus the grounds are stellar right now, so you need to take a look at that if you haven't seen it. We've had a lot of functions there lately, so you need to get up there and take a look. The animal enclosure used to care for the park's farm animals. Because of Jack's efforts, there is now a beautiful, secure, and welcoming space for the animals to live, as well as the community to enjoy visiting and interacting with the animals, such as goats, chickens, pigs, lambs, and I think we have a turkey, don't we?
Yum.
Yes, a big turkey.
No,
not yum, a turkey. Behind the scene. Behind the scene. He missed it. He got pardoned. Give me a break. Okay. Behind the scenes, Jack has contributed in countless ways to help keep the nonprofit running and to support the continued offering of many wonderful educational and special events each year. These events serve both the local community and visitors, providing opportunities to learn about and enjoy a slice of Laverne's past. Mr. Manziel, come on up. So, you are an ex-retired police officer of the city of Covina, is that correct? West Covina, sorry. West Covina. He lived in the same neighborhood we did for like 18 years, like I had mentioned. Jack and Debbie, they are hands-on. This man, there's not much you can't do besides building. If you haven't seen him at Heritage Park, you see him on the tractor, and that's where one of his big loves is. But you have to see the buildings. Jack is a master of all trades. He can do just about anything. So another round of applause for this man. That's You have family here, don't you? And would you like to tell us who your family is? I know that you're sorry for you to speak.
Thank you, Tim. With me, my wife, of course, and I have to thank her for the tolerance of my time with the park. It's a constant fight. My son, daughter-in-law, 2 grandchildren, sister, her husband, her daughter, sons and husband in the back. That's basically my family. The other family is everybody else from the park.
You guys stand up for the people from Heritage Park, the foundation, please. Come on. I want you to, all the whole family come up. Also, if you guys don't know it, but Heritage Park, if there's any time you go by Heritage Park, there's buses, there's schools, there's, you name it. That place is so busy. I'll go up and do a minute with the mayor for either the spring fair or either anything we do with the concerts in the park. There's always something going on there. And there are students, they just don't have this kind of places. And we're very blessed to have such an amazing heritage park with our history there, with our barn and all the outbuildings and all the just the park itself. But it has to do with the testament of the people that donate their time. You guys do an amazing job, and we really do appreciate that. Without you guys, it wouldn't be what it is. We do honestly appreciate that because anybody I talk to, they love Heritage Park. They love all of our parks. You know, we have 21 parks in the city of Laverne. 21. We just finished one of our master plans to see what we could do to beautify and fix the parks with a budget, as long as we have money. Where's our city manager? As long as we have money. But we've been doing a really good job. But Heritage Park is one of the stellar and the crowning glories of our community. And it's because of the time that you people put into it. It's all that love and care, and we do appreciate that. So with that, City of Laverne Certificate of Recognition presented to Jack Manziel. This certificate is presented on behalf of the Laverne City Council to Jack Manziel. Congratulations on being nominated as the Outstanding Older American representing the City of Laverne for 2025-26. Thank you for all your efforts, Jack. Oh, you guys can leave. Go ahead. Go ahead. You got a baby. You guys go. Go. Come on. By the way, get back up there. There's a couple weeds I saw. Could you get up there and pick those up?
I'll bring the sheets down.
Go.
We had two. We know what we're doing, okay? We did good.
You know what?
What?
Again, bless your heart.
I understand. Thank you very
I
much.
will say my prayer for her tonight.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, great. Is that him over there? Is that... No. Our next presentation item is the recognition of Dr. Henderson for service as medical director for the Laverne Fire Department. I'm going to call up Fire Chief Coatney to speak about the medical director position and Dr. Henderson. And I know Dr. Henderson had a last-minute item and will not be able to be joining us tonight. Good evening, Chief Coatney.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. This evening, it's my honor to recognize Dr. Sean Henderson for his nearly 15 years of dedicated service as the medical director for the Laverne Fire Department. In his role as medical director, Dr. Henderson has provided critical oversight of our paramedic program, ensuring that our personnel deliver high-quality, evidence-based pre-hospital care. His responsibilities have included establishing and approving clinical protocols, overseeing training and continuing education, conducting quality assurance reviews, and providing medical guidance to our paramedics. Equally important, Dr. Henderson has ensured that the department remains in full compliance with the Los Angeles County Emergency Medical Services Agency, aligning our operations with countywide standards and regulatory requirements. This compliance is essential not only for maintaining our authorization to provide advanced life support and ambulance transport services, but also for ensuring the highest level of patient care and system accountability. Through his leadership and commitment, Dr. Henderson has played an integral role in maintaining the integrity, professionalism, and effectiveness of our paramedic program. His contributions have directly enhanced the level of service we provide to the community and have helped position the Laverne Fire Department as a leader in emergency medical services. On behalf of the City of Laverne and the Fire Department, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to Dr. Henderson for his years of service and his support of our mission. Thank you. And unfortunately, like we said, he could not make it this evening. He expressed his sincere apologies for that. We did have a plaque made for him as well, and we're going to recognize him at a later time when he can make it.
Please let us know.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. We now move on to announcements of upcoming community events. This is for stuff that's happening in our community. Public comment and items on the agenda can be addressed at the time we review those. But this is for announcements. Adrian.
Oh, yeah, Adrian. Hey, how you doing? I almost got my slipper. Thank you, buddy.
Can't go a night out without it.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. I would like to introduce a few events that will be taking place at Laverne Library this month. Every Thursday in April at 11 a.m., we'll be holding Smart Start story times for toddlers ages 2 to 5. During these sessions, kids can enjoy books, songs, and rhymes while learning school readiness skills. Advanced registration for this event is required, which can be done in person or by visiting our website at lacountylibrary.org. And this Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we'll be holding a cooking demonstration for adults. During this event, Chef Evie Chow will demonstrate and prepare a chicken pie dish for those in attendance. And after her demonstration, those in attendance can sample her dish. And on April 23rd at 4 o'clock, we'll be holding a time management program for teens where they can learn tips and tools to help them prioritize, organize, and stay on top of things. And April 19th to 25th is National Library Week. We have a poster board, so I'm asking people to please stop by the library and leave a note on our message board telling us what you find joyful about the library. And thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate that. Let's not forget that our library is amazing, and we have lots of things going on there, and you can look on the website, their city website, as far as the Los Angeles County Laverne Library, and find out what's going on. There's always something fun going on. So, any other announcements? Well, that's two hands. That's both of you. So come on up. Ms. Kalusik and Ms. Best, how are you?
The Bobbsey twins. Good evening, everybody. Kathy Kalusek, Vice President of our Laverne Historical Society, wanting to remind everybody that April 18th is the Wine Walk. We have been chosen to be the nonprofit, so a group of us will be checking everybody in, but we want to remind everybody, get your tickets. I don't know offhand how much the tickets are, but I can tell you that and then it's like before April 12th, they're cheaper. And then after, it's a little bit more.
I took a snapshot of it. Go ahead.
Mayor will look at it for us, and then we'll add it. So anyway, we want to make sure everybody gets tickets. It usually sells out. We want to make sure it does. Support the city and support your
Okay, you ready?
historical society.
It's 60. It's early bird special before April 12th is $55. Designated driver is $25. After April 12th, it's $65. Designated driver is $35. Tickets are also available at Mickey's Jewelry Studio, 3rd Street Wine Shop, cash or check only, and the portion of the proceeds benefit Laverne Historical Society. There you go.
Thank you very much. And
So backing up, on the 11th of April, the Laverne Historical Society will participate with the Senior Craft Fair event, and this is a very fun thing to come to. So come support seniors at the community center. We'll be there selling our jelly jams and marmalades and having a good time meeting up with seniors. Now we're going to fast forward to June 20th. The Laverne Historical Society is partnering with the Covina Valley Historical Society for a trip to the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens. There's going to be a special exhibit to celebrate America 250. That exhibit is called This Land Is, and we'll fill in the rest, I guess, when we're over there looking at the exhibit. The exhibit is opening the 13th of June, so we'll be there right on the 20th of June, one of the first people to go over and look. So I have passed out flyers. I'll bring more flyers. And so this is open to all people. The cost is $50. That includes your admission to the Huntington, a docent-led tour for 90 minutes where we have a ratio of 6 attendees to 1 docent, which is a pretty nice deal, and admission to all of the attractions at the Huntington. And if you haven't been there, it's a wonderful, wonderful addition to Southern California. We'll be gone from about 9 in the morning to about 5 in the afternoon. This is an all-day event. Lunch is on your own, but I think it's possible to buy lunch at the site, and people can also bring lunch. So this is a wonderful opportunity for everybody. And I would like to add one more thing, and that is in the last week, I've been very humbled to receive 2 incredible gifts to the Laverne Historical Society by 2 people, neither of whom live in Laverne anymore. They both live out of state. Marty Behrens, who's 95 years old, lives in Issaquah, Washington, and she has gifted us with the Bible that belonged to Henry Kuhn's wife, a number of other things, and she just sent some antique dishes, which we hope to be able to display sometime. And so we are on the phone talking periodically, and we'll be sending her a copy of the newsletter. She can't read anymore, but her daughter said that she'll be reading the newsletter to her. So this is going to be a big surprise because the next edition of the newsletter will feature some of her gifts to the Historical Society. The other gift comes from Helen Byler, who grew up in Laverne, and she sent me over 275 copies of original crate labels. They are just phenomenal, and we spent all day today, my husband and I, taking pictures of these crate labels, so we will organize them digitally, and I think this should form the basis of a gallery exhibit because they're from all over Southern California, but we have some beautiful, beautiful artifacts from her. She lives in McKees Rock, Pennsylvania. And so I've been in touch with both of these women over time. And because they're members of the Historical Society and get our newsletter and communicate with us, they decided to gift the Historical Society. And Helen in particular said, I thought about giving those crate labels to the Huntington, but no, I decided to choose the Laverne Historical Society. So good for her and good on us. Thank you.
And then,
Yes.
don't forget, join the Historical Society or renew your membership. $20 individual, 25 families, $200 for a life membership. Then you don't have to think about it. We don't have to nag you. Thank you.
Okay.
A little tidbit of information that Sherry Bess did her craft talk. Her craft talk is when you become a Rotarian member in the city of Laverne as a Rotary member, and service above self basically is the Rotary's motto, and she is now an official member of Laverne Rotary Club.
That's right.
And we learned things about Sherry that I'm not going to repeat what goes on in Rotary stays in Rotary, so we're going to leave it there. I told you I'd say that.
I knew you would.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you, guys. Any other announcements? Community events coming up? Yes, great. Come on.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I just want to let everybody know that this Friday, the VFW will be having a Blaze Pizza fundraiser. Everybody that comes in from 4 to 9 and shows the flyer that's on our website and on Facebook and on Instagram, we'll have 20% of those proceeds come to the post. And our goal is, as you know, to replace that dated bus. As a matter of fact, it's broken right now. We can't open the door, so we can't use it. So once again, we're trying to do our fundraising to ultimately replace our bus. So everybody come on down to Blaze from 4 to 9, show that flyer that's on our Instagram and Facebook page, and help us get that bus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, you can. Yes, absolutely. You can download it and share it and show the cashier. And that's all you need to do.
Have we checked with some of our local repair shops that might want to help our veterans out?
We have not.
Okay, why don't we talk tomorrow?
We can. Yes,
It'd be a
sir.
nice feather in someone's cap. We've got a couple really good mechanics in Laverne on Arrow Highway that I'm sure would be very gracious to take care of that for you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thank
let's
you so
do that.
much.
Okay, we'll
Thank
talk tomorrow.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Any other announcements? Mr. Ivy.
Yeah, all right. Let's get ready. Thank you, Mayor, City Council members, and staff. I want to say a couple of events coming up pretty quick. First, I'm going to talk about Way Out. June 6th, Coons Park, Cassie sponsoring a community picnic at the park. We want you all to come out for that, something new we've been doing. And we want to thank Sherwood Sherry for her generous donation to make this happen. And I thank you for that. Cassie thanks you. Another event that's coming up is the Cassie meeting tomorrow, 7 o'clock. We're going to have some students coming from University of Laverne to talk about race and ethnicity as a project that they've been working on for a while. They'll be making a presentation to Cassie tomorrow at the Citrus Room at Hillcrest, again at 7 o'clock tomorrow. So come on out and join us. And then another announcement I have is April 18th, following upon and piggybacking on the big SIP of Laverne event, is the Cooperative Economic Empowerment Movement, SEAM, is going to be having a concert. So it's going to it kind of blends in to the theme of what we're doing with the SIP of Laverne. We're asking you all to come out. Tickets are $55 minimum and go up from there. Your generous offerings is wonderful. And the Cooperative Economic Empowerment Movement is dealing with community farming, is dealing with wealth, and generational wealth, as well as health and well-being of people. And then most importantly, we're dealing with birthing issues of especially black mothers, but all mothers. And especially with black mothers, the mortality rate for them is gigantic. It is horrible. And so what the doula program does is it helps out. SEAM is a great supporter of that. So anything we can raise for the SEAM concert on April 18th, starting around 7-ish, and we're hoping people will come out and at least support us for that. It's a great event. And then finally, Fairplex. The fair is coming April 7th. We're going to be opening the doors. We have lots of concerts. Kinds.
May.
What did I say?
Don't.
What did I say?
That means we got to hurry tomorrow.
You know I meant May.
We're just
you just
checking
want to
you.
embarrass me. Just tomorrow.
Does Walter know that?
Well, he's going to be mad when he finds out. So, May 7th, come on out. We're going to have a Laverne Day. I forgot what day that is, but Laverne Day is always great. We're going to have a parade, and we're going to invite all the folks there.
When's Laverne Day? Is it the 4th?
It's right in the beginning. It's the week after.
Just the Friday after?
Right.
It's the
That's right.
12th or 4th, whatever. Okay, we know.
Yeah, but
we'll push it out there.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
But be sure and come to that. It's big. Let me tell you, the Fairplex loves Laverne. Laverne loves the Fairplex. Let's just make this thing happen.
16th?
And
15th.
And it's going to be a great event. So again, that concludes my presentations. You guys are doing a great job, and thank you for serving the city.
Thank you, Mr. Ivy. Appreciate it. Thank you. Any other announcements? We're going to bring it up to the dais. Mayor Pro Tem Cash.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City of Laverne. I have an amazing announcement. This is from the chairman of the Carmel Band of Rumson Indians is having their community gathering and powwow. It will be on April 17th, 18th, and 19th. And if you've never had the opportunity to attend a powwow, it is amazing. So it's not in our city. However, I did want to let him know that there are a lot of community members that are from the same tribe that would like to maybe attend, and I want to kind of get that message out there. And if you have never attended a powwow or seen this type of gathering, it is an amazing thing to see. It is just absolutely amazing thing to see. So a lot of great food. They're even going to have a fashion show. And so I will leave this flyer down here for you to see and his card if you'd like to reach out to him, get any further information. And who knows what the future holds. Maybe we'll bring it to Laverne one day, right?
What about the car show?
And no?
What about the car show?
What about the car show? It was great.
Are you,
Oh, yeah, well, you want to tell them about the...
you can do it at the end?
Yeah. at the
Oh,
end,
I'm
where
sorry.
we attended.
I'm sorry. Never
That's
mind.
for the new
That's
stuff.
true. Okay. never
But
mind.
yeah, the car show was great, and good job on picking that vehicle, Mayor. We'll stay tuned to see what vehicle won this year's Mayor Choice. So
There you go.
stay Laverne strong. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we do have one more thing announcement. That's the Police Officers Association Golf Tournament, which is coming up on April 20th. There are sponsorships available. There are platinum sponsors, gold sponsors, donations, foursomes, single, individual golfers. This is going to benefit. This is from the Laverne Police Officers Association and the Laverne Canine Foundation, and it's going to support the Police Explorer program. And on there, go on the LVPOA website, and you can find out how to do it, how to purchase, how to donate, whatever you wish to do. Mr. Crosby.
Yes, on April 19th, Sunday, opening day for the Autism Spectrum Athletics Baseball, ages 5 to 18. They've been doing their practices on the last couple of Sundays. They were off yesterday for Easter, but opening day is on the 19th, and I'll get you the times. They have multiple opening days. It's just for each level they have there. It's at Wheeler Park, so I think there's one at 12, one at 2, and then one like at 3:30.
Let us
But
know.
I'll
We'd
get
like
you
to be
those
there.
times.
Yeah.
But great events. If you ever want to go down and just bring smiles to your face, go down and watch the kids play there on Sundays at Wheeler Park.
Thank you, Mr. Crosby. Mr. Johnson, anything? Councilmember Lau? Okay, we're going to go ahead and close announcements. We're going to move on to consent calendar. All items on the consent calendar are routine and will be enacted by one motion unless a member of the City Council or a member of the audience requests separate discussion or just wants to make a statement on one of the items. Council, are there any requests to pull an item from any of you?
Clarification, this is 1 through 8?
That is correct. That is correct. We do have, we have some to be pulled, apparently, which are items 2, 7, and 8. Is that correct, Mr. Domer?
That is correct, sir.
And that would be Mr. Bowen? Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So we can vote on 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that order. We have a motion.
I move approve number 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of our consent calendar.
Second.
Second. Vote, please.
That motion was made by Crosby, seconded by Lau, approved 5-0. Consent calendar items 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are approved.
Very good. Thank you, Council. We'll take these one at a time. Can Attorney Hall-Barlow, may we, once we discuss these three items, will we take one vote on all three, or does it have to be individual for 2, 7, and 8? Okay, so we'll discuss an item, then we'll close comment, and then we'll, okay. Mr. Crosby, your button's on there. Mr. Bowen, item number 2, you had a request to pull item number 2, which is registers of audit and demands.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, yes, I identified about 12 items, and I won't ask Percy to dig through them now, but I have identified them, so I'll be more than happy to give them to you, and she can respond to me later.
Okay.
It's the reason I pulled some of those is I see things like, we keep hearing that we have a financial issue coming up very shortly, if not now, but Angels tickets for $716. That's not a lot of money, but why is the city buying Angel tickets? Other things like, and again, I don't know who they are, Dooley Enterprises, $40,000. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this incorrectly, ISES, ISES, Corporation for $44,000. Tennis, anyone, for $3,600. A company called Tangram, $109,000. SDI Presents, $27,000. L. Barrios and Associates, almost $29,000. An individual, Francisco something, $2,600. Ramona Bowl Amphitheater, I've never even heard of that, $2,000. UCLA for pre-hospital or for pre-hospital care, $4,700. So it'd be interesting to know what some of those things are all about. So do you want to go through each one, or go through the answers to that one, and then I'll address the other two?
I mean, a lot of these are medical training person. A lot of them are has to do with LA Clear and LA Impact. A lot of them have to do with our maintenance on our buildings. And so, I mean,
I'll just give this, and I'll give it to Christy if you'd like, or I'll give it to.
Then, okay, you don't need the response now.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Then with that, okay, we're going to open up public comment on this item. Anybody wish to speak on this item, which would be item number 2, which is our audit demands? With that, we're going to close public comment. I'll take a motion to.
I move to approve item number 2, which is the register of audit demands in the amount of $2,147,648.67, dated 3/11/2026.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Consent calendar item number 2, motion by Crosby, seconded by Johnson, and approved 5-0.
Good. We will open up for number 7, salary approval of salary range for utilities manager. Mr. Bowen.
Yes, I pulled this one. Again, having to do with fiscal responsibility. April 2nd, the city manager sent an email out, and I won't go through the whole thing, but talking about dire straits. In fact, the heading was budget crunch time. And in it, about the 4th paragraph, he says, showed our very first initial budget figure of a 1.86. The number made no sense, but says 1,086,287 deficit. So I assume that's 86 something for the next year, and across the board amount that each department function would have to cut to eliminate this deficit. Yet tonight, you have a staff recommendation by JR to raise a salary range for utilities manager. Who left? Number one, I'd like to know who left. Did they get fired or did they quit? And then he has in here a recommendation that basically we don't pay enough. But you're asking everybody to cut, but he's asking, and I say he, JR, because you wrote it, you're saying that we need to increase this open position by 9.3%. I think we just gave our police 2.5, and you're saying we're in trouble going forward, but you suddenly want to raise a non-existing job right at the moment. I understand it's empty, and raise it by 9.3% across the board. Right now, the minimum is $116,217. You want to raise it to $127,067, and the step 5, the highest rate, which is probably how you'll hire somebody, which is normally what happens. Current is $141,262. You want to raise that to $154,4
50. This is before you even have any candidates. So it just strikes me funny that you're sending one signal, hey, we've got to cut, but by the way, we're going to raise this one 9.3% before you even have any candidates. Doesn't really make sense.
That's your basis question on that one?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to open up public comment before we address your comment. Do we have anybody who wish to speak on this item? That would be item number 8, a salary increase. 7, sorry. Item number 7. My glasses. No public comment. We'll close public comment. We'll bring it up to the dais. Any comments from council before we give to the city manager? Mr. City Manager, I'll leave it in your hands.
Well, I'll let JR do most of the talking. My April 2nd email to all staff was just kind of a iteration of where we're at on the budget. The 1.866, sorry, I did miss something. I was trying to get that out, so there was a numeral missing, but the 1.866 was the initial that was in the strategic plan from February 7th. That was a general fund. This fund, or this position in question, is within the water fund, and I'll let J.R. Rennell speak to it.
Yeah, the position is vacant. It's a normal item for us to review classifications when they become vacant. We look at if there's any updates to the actual job description language that need to be done, which in this case, that's up to date. But we also look at the market for the position to see if there are adjustments that are needed to make sure that we're competitive and attractive for positions. This is a really important position that requires a lot of state water certifications, both treatment and distribution certifications. And so we looked at that in comparison to other agencies that would be recruiting for the same type of position and presented it to council with a recommendation for an increase to be competitive and hopefully get top talent attracted to the job application.
So who left and how much were they earning?
That's a personnel issue. It is vacant right now, and again, as JR said, every vacancy we do look. So right now we do know that Upland's looking for a utilities manager, and it is set higher. So again, as JR said, we are looking to make sure that we remain competitive. And when we did this position about a year or year and a half ago, we went through several iterations. So we felt that this was needed to make sure that we are competitive and bring in the good talent, because it is one of our, if not the top water position, is one of our top water positions.
So it's a secret to not say who
Correct.
already
So
left the
we
company,
don't talk personnel
already
issues.
left the city?
We don't talk personnel issues.
So we don't know if he quit or to get a better job or anything else, and you won't share that?
No.
Yeah. Nope. Under advisement. Nope.
Okay. That's why people wonder what's going on. Okay.
We're done with that?
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to approve salary range for utilities manager?
Move to approve item number 7.
Do we have a second? Second? Vote, please.
Tells me all day, every day.
Item 7 of the consent calendar, motion by Crosby, seconded by Castelfagita, and approved 5-0.
Thank you. We are now to 8, ordinance second reading, adoption approving request by Hillcrest Homes to change the zone designation. Mr. Bowen.
I'm sorry, this is number 8?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. I had a quick question because I came to the first meeting and it was canceled. Came to the second meeting, it was canceled. During the first meeting, I had an open comment section. I asked Eric, how many homes were being bought by Hillcrest to do this extension? And I said, how much revenue do we lose? And he said he didn't know. So I figured somebody else might. It's been a couple of months and never got an answer. He says he would look into it and never responded. My understanding is they're buying 4 homes as part of this, and Hillcrest doesn't pay any property tax. So the city loses the current property tax on those 4 homes and gets 0 when they do this extension. So Hillcrest for this community, every time they buy a piece of property, we lose money to the city, correct? Would that be a correct assumption? Because they're paying taxes, Hillcrest buys them, that property is no longer taxable. So I'm wondering if somebody can give me the exact amount that the city loses when on these 4 homes.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. I'm going to go ahead and open up public comment. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Mr. Domer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm not a tax advisor or anything like that. I do know that when you look at the publicly available data on the LA County Treasurer Tax Collector site for any parcel within the Hillcrest area, there are property taxes paid. They're not fully exempt. So they do pay, I know, assessments like towards some of the bond proceeds and other things like that. So generally, and again, I'm not a tax advisor or a legal person, thankfully, but it really kind of depends on, how much and what use of the nonprofit and whether they apply for the exemption. So this is for housing. And so, for example, if it was completely affordable, then any affordable project in the city or percentage of affordable project qualifies under the welfare exemption. So I don't know the specifics on this one, but we still do collect some property taxes, and we also collected the property taxes from the increase from when they bought it, because I believe these 4 that were in question originally were from like 1956. They bought them recently, that reassessed it. So since 2014 or sometime around then, we've been receiving the higher amount. And then I do believe that still when they are reassessed and rebuilt, and I believe there's going to be 7 homes. There's still going to be a portion of them that are generating property tax that we will get, but at that higher level. So it's not 0, it's not 100%, but it's somewhere in between.
Any other questions? Staff? Or council? I just want to make a quick comment that also that even though there may be a tax advantage on the properties, Hillcrest pays full fees to the city for all of the plans and the change in zoning changes, and it's quite expensive. But I will say that Hillcrest is probably one of the finest attributes to our community, not barring the question of taxes, but they've been an amazing advocate for our senior care and for continuum of care in that community. So we are very blessed to have them. This is quite an expensive project for Hillcrest, barring the fact that they do get some tax advantages, but it is very expensive for them to undertake this. But at the end of the day, it's going to be an amazing adoption of new homes for Hillcrest, and it's just going to blend them so nicely with our community, as you always have done.
And the jobs, Mayor, and the jobs,
and the people that shop in our community. We're very happy with that.
Oh yeah,
but
God bless them.
As independent living as they are, that they do shop in our community, and a wonderful asset. But with that, do I have a motion? To approve the second reading? Second. Okay, vote please.
Item 8 of the consent calendar, motion by Cashel Fakita, seconded by Lau, and approved 5-0.
Thank you very much. Tonight, there's one public hearing item. Its ordinance updates the LV Municipal Code relating to accessory dwelling units, otherwise known as ADUs and junior ADUs.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to bring up Associate Planner Valerie Chin to provide this presentation.
Good evening, Valerie.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. This is for the first reading of ordinance updates to the Laverne Municipal Code relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units, from now on referred to as ADUs and JADUs, as well as Senate Bill 9, also known as SB 9. So first off, these ordinances, 2 of them, introduce minor but important updates to the Laverne Municipal Code to ensure compliance with the recent state mandates. The changes are outlined in the attached ordinances in attachments 1 and 2. For SB 9 updates, the first change is emergency shelter definition was revised. They removed minimal services. Next is 2-unit projects and lot splits not allowed on historic and landmark properties. And they removed prior demolition and alteration language, and we clarified limits in historic districts. For ADU and JADU updates, there are changes to application timelines. There is now a 15-day completeness review, autocomplete if there is no response from us, and appeals go to the City Council within 60 days. For standards, the square footage applies only to interior livable space. And for approvals, there is no combining of ADUs and JADUs with other unit allowances, and there is also updated and cleaned language for this section. For JADUs, owner occupancy is required if they're sharing facilities, and no new sprinkler requirements have been applied. For regulations, they can be rented independently at a minimum of 31 days. These draft ordinances were presented to the Planning Commission during a public hearing on March 11th of 2026, with the Planning Commission voting 4-0, where Commissioner Ramos was absent, and to recommend that the City Council adopt the ordinances. The fees for processing development applications for proposed ADU and SB9 projects will be the same as currently required for similar residential or land division projects, as indicated by the 2025 to 2026 comprehensive fee schedule. And the ADU ordinance is exempt from CEQA pursuant to the Code Section 21080.17, which provides that CEQA does not apply to the adoption of an ordinance to implement ADU law. And the SB9 ordinance is exempt from CEQA pursuant to the provisions of the authorizing statute SB9 as set forth in Code Section 65852.21, as well as 66411.7 relating to two-unit developments, and the entire ordinance is exempt pursuant to the common sense exemption of CEQA guidelines section 15061B subsection 3. As it can be seen with certainty that these changes will have no environmental impacts, as they merely incorporate what is required by state law. No further environmental review is required at this time. And these draft ordinances were prepared under the supervision of and reviewed by the city attorney for compliance with state law. So it is recommended that the City Council should conduct a public hearing introducing by title only and waiving further reading of the following ordinances. The first one being an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laverne, amending the definition of emergency shelter to implement state law and amending the Laverne Municipal Code to implement state laws changes to two-unit housing developments and urban lot splits, and making a determination that the ordinance is exempt from CEQA. And the second is an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Laverne, amending the zoning provisions of the Laverne Municipal Code relating to accessory dwelling units and junior accessory dwelling units in accordance with state law, and making a determination that the ordinance is exempt from CEQA. That's all. I am available for any questions that you may have.
Very well done. Thank you very much. We're going to go and open public comment on this. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we're going to close public comment, bring it up to the dais. Any comments from council?
First reading, does that mean it's going to be coming back next meeting for a second reading, or is that being waived?
The second reading would be waived. It'll come back for adoption at your next meeting.
And the reason we're doing this is to stay up with our local changes in the code to ADUs and JADUs. Very important that we adopt these to make sure that we protect our community. So this is a very important document that will change again. Yes. So, no further discussion. Do I have a motion to, should I read these again? They've already been read by staff, and we can do one vote for both of the items. Is that correct? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Vote, please.
Motion by Castelfagita, seconded by Johnson, to approve staff's recommendation for item 9, approved 5-0.
And staff does such an excellent job explaining to us. It's so easy for us to make decisions like this. Thank you very much.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Now for discussion calendar, we are neither 3 items for the discussion calendar. First, an update on the Route 66 Centennial and America 250 program and approval of Public Art Fund appropriation for banner program. Mr. Domer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to bring up Andrea Blockinger to present this item.
Andrea.
Here we go. All right.
Perfect. All right, well, good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, City staff, and residents. Tonight, I will be providing an update on our historic engagement opportunities for Route 66, their centennial this year, and America 250, their celebration this year as well. So hold on a second. Will you click for me? Okay. So for some background context, we first presented a concept to council during the March 2nd City Council meeting, and based on your feedback, we spent the past month meeting with various community groups, including the Historical Society, Laverne Daily, the VFW Post, the library, and many more groups as well. Based on these discussions, I've received some really great feedback on how we can collaborate with our community groups and provide cost-effective programming throughout the calendar year. We expect programming to probably evolve throughout the year as we continue to meet with various community groups and they propose more opportunities for programming to celebrate these milestones. We have developed a page on our website where people can learn more about our programming for the year and reach out to us to see how we can connect and collaborate. It's laverneca.gov/historic events. For tonight's presentation, we're going to start with our Route 66 programming. JR, would you mind? Perfect. The first thing, this is based on what we presented to you all last time, is we are going to update our signage along Foothill Boulevard to really stress that it is Route 66. Some don't know that, actually. So we found a cost-effective option where instead of replacing the entire street signs, we can overlay a sticker with the Route 66 branding for our Foothill Boulevard signage, which really shaves off over half the cost. So that's great for us. Additionally, we wanted to install more historic Route 66 signs so that people would really see that that's our Route 66 corridor.
Question on that, too.
Yeah.
Sorry. I brought up to Mr. Domer what I've been seeing in cities, our neighbor cities. They have the brown historical sign, but right where that sign is on the actual street, they have the emblem
like on the street?
On the street as well. Of just the middle part, the Laverne US 66.
Yeah, the sign itself.
It's like crosswalk paint, whatever.
Yeah.
On the street, right where those signs are. Where I thought that was not an expensive thing to do, but to really highlight, because when you're driving by, you don't see the sign as much, but you see that the emblem
Absolutely.
on the ground. Yeah.
And that's something we could definitely look into further in talking with Cody. We're trying to see what we can do in our timeline with Caltrans permitting. It's quite a lengthy process because we'd have to close a lane and do traffic control to do the painting. And while we love that concept, it may not be something this year, but something we circle back to.
Can we do it at midnight?
Yeah.
Question for Dre. Just
like some of the communities just paint some lines.
Just on that, can we get maybe community involvement or engagement to where we can have maybe the community members paint a box?
No.
That was my idea.
You mean
guys
residents
shoot it down?
walking
I
into
thought it
the
was a great
street?
idea.
As the representative to the JPIA and the liability, no.
As a risk manager and a lawyer.
If you've heard the news lately, people are spraying safety lines
a
and they're going
utility
back
box?
and sandblasting them.
That is something we have talked about, yes. The utility box. Yes.
Oh, that's for
Shoot me down.
maybe you should talk to her and see why. You always have great ideas, Cash. Always.
So, JR, next slide,
Okay.
please.
Continue, Andrea. Continue.
In partnering with the Chamber of Commerce, one thing we want to implement this summer is a Route 66 passport. The idea behind this is participating businesses will sign up to hide an emblem in their business, whether it's a classic car or the Route 66 logo, and residents can visit these businesses, find the icon, and their passport will get stamped. The goal is to visit all the businesses, help boost economic development in the city, and once you finish your passport, you get a prize. Working with Matt at the Chamber, he said that some businesses have already expressed some interest in this, so we're hoping to see this kick off in the coming months. Our goal is in the summer time frame when kids are off from school and they have time to explore the city and fill out their passport. Thank you. All right, and with this one, in collaboration with Flying Deuces, our November car show we have slated actually worked out perfectly for us because November 11th, 2026 marks the official date of the Route 66 Centennial. So we already have a car show slated. I've been talking with Craig at Flying Deuces on how we can rebrand this to really celebrate the centennial. Our goal is to keep it in Old Town Laverne to support the local businesses in that area. Craig is looking into brainstorming creative ideas on how we can make it bigger and better than ever with this program. Really quickly, before we pivot into America 250 programming, I just want to stress I've met with both the California Historic Route 66 Association and chatted with the National Association, and they're willing to market our campaigns and all of our events, so hopefully we'll see increased traffic throughout the year to our programming. All right, pivoting to America 250. In part of the conversations I had with both the Historical Society and with Laverne Daily, we talked about how can we really have youth participate in this, and the first thing we thought of was an essay contest catered to youth in the community. America 250 is doing their own national essay contest, but we wanted to put a Laverne spin on it. So our prompt is, if someone visited my neighborhood, what would they learn about America? And we are breaking it down into the different categories of elementary, middle, and high school. And then from the received applications, we would select a winner from each category. They'd be recognized at a city council meeting, posted on social media, and their actual essays put up here at City Hall. The one thing I wanted to stress about that is we're trying to move quickly on that because I don't think many students want to write an essay during the summer. So our goal is to send this out ideally tomorrow so that leading up to the end of school, they have time to submit this essay before they can enjoy their summer and do their Route 66 passport. We will check for AI usage. Next is the photo contest. Oh, sorry, on the same slide. Last year, we did our first ever photo contest, and it was a great success. This year, we wanted to pivot it to be America 250 categories. This is open to all ages, but it'll be in the same time frame as well, closing at the end of May. Now, for this year, we also want to do a social media campaign in partnership with the Historical Society. We're going to do a monthly spotlight on key landmarks and also individuals who have shaped Laverne into what it is today. So for this month, we will potentially be looking at the Methodist Church and also looking at other historic figures throughout Laverne's history in the coming months. So keep an eye out for those. Partnering with the VFW Post, we are going to do a Veteran of the Month spotlight as well. So highlighting their story, their background, and how they've lived in Laverne and shaped Laverne's history as well. All right, next is the Liberty Bell. Following the last council meeting, we had some discussions amongst staff on how we can really bring the bell into the America 250 celebrations. And JR, if you click on the image, I think we can get it to play. Sorry, there's no audio. Oh, there is audio. So, yes. Yeah, it's protected so that no one can ring it throughout the year. You at midnight when you're out and about, ring the bell. So we're happy to see that the bell does ring and it sounds beautiful. Public Works has found a way that we're going to be able to lift it and have it in the 4th of July parade. We're seeing other ways that we can further celebrate the bell. One thing that's been talked about is a fundraiser. You ring the bell, get a shirt. Part of the proceeds goes to local communities. But those are discussions with the Friends of the 4th of July Committee. They're continuing to work on that programming, so we look forward to hearing about that. Next slide, please. It's very heavy. And of course, with America 250, we want to highlight our history, and so that's why we brought up the Historical Society so much. So we're definitely going to do a different programming throughout the year. Every year, the Historical Society does amazing programming.
Who's that lady in that picture? Who is that? Whose house is that?
They do amazing programming every year, and so we wanted to bring back some key programs they've done in previous years, the Landmarks Walk Tour, the Cemetery Tour, and the Mills Act Home Tour. You'll see that the walking tour is still TBD. We're identifying a time where it's not going to be scorching hot while we're walking around Laverne, so it may be in the fall or winter time, in the cooler months. But we're going to blast those on social media and make sure we get a lot of traffic for those so people can learn more about Laverne's history. In partnership with the VFW Post, there's a few different things we want to do because without veterans, this nation wouldn't be what it is today. During the holiday season, we want to do a season of giving, do a few different campaigns to donate to those in need, whether it's supplies, gifts, or food. We want to see what we can do to rally the community to provide to those in need. Additionally, they're looking into doing a call for artists, asking veterans to submit original artwork related to America 250, and hopefully display it as a gallery in Laverne that people can walk through and see the original art from our community. All right, the last one to talk about today is something we talked about at the last council meeting, is we want to do a banner program. This is for both our Route 66 Centennial and for the America 250 campaign. We're asking for artists to submit original artwork to celebrate both of those key milestones. We've broken it down into a few categories. That way the youth in our community aren't competing with professional artists. So it's broken down by professional artists, community and emerging artists, and youth artists. Our goal is to select one from each category per milestone. So at a bare minimum, we'll have 6 different banners put up throughout our city. This one we want to act swiftly on as well. The goal is, if approved tonight, we're posting it tomorrow. And it'll close on May 5th, so that hopefully we can get all of these banners up and ready by the 4th of July and when a lot of our festivities kick off throughout the year. Now we talk money, talk about the budget. For this, we have focused on being cost effective. We want to make sure we are keeping our financial constraints in mind, and that's why we've been really grateful to have so many community partners that are willing to work with us to collaborate on these projects. The key one is the banner program. We're looking to appropriate $25,000 from our public art fund to cover the cost of that program. And then the other cost we have identified is the updated signage along Route 66 at about $1,000. And then prizes we want to give to our recipients of the different contests, about $1,000 as well. Any staff time is absorbed into existing budgets. So at this time, these are the key costs we've identified. But as I've said, programming will evolve throughout the year. So if there's other costs, we'll identify if we have those in our budget. One thing I want to talk about is our public art fund policy. Through these discussions of Route 66 and America 250 celebrations, we've identified a need to create a standardized public art fund policy to shape what type of projects these funds can be used for and what the approval process looks like. We're hoping to bring that for you in the May council meetings. So at this time, our recommendations are to receive and file this report, provide direction on the programming we've discussed tonight, and approve our appropriation of $25,000 for the banner program this year.
Question on the $25,000 from the Public Art Fund for the banner program. That isn't trying to find new money. That is money that's already been either set aside or something. So it's not an additional $25,000 to come up.
Not
so
general
this
fund.
This is funds existing in the Public Art Fund, but it's not something we had originally budgeted. We hadn't planned to do this banner program, so we need to appropriate those funds for the budget year. Right.
Good job, Andrea. Great job.
And I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Go ahead. Just a second.
Before you leave,
Oh, yeah.
I was just looking at the website information where it says the winners for the essay contest and the photo contest. The prize is a gift bag that we have not figured out what's going to be in it yet.
True.
But maybe I would suggest talking to maybe the chamber and seeing if maybe some of the local businesses would be willing to like name a sandwich after the winner to drive business to that, location, or name a drink or name a whatever. And, yeah, this is the Hepburn, or this is the,
Podge's sandwiches used to have some Laverne names on
instead of
Podge's
the Joey
sandwiches.
special at Red Devil. it'd be
right.
something
So,
else.
I mean, I think just because, a lot of these things, like the passport thing, we're not requiring people to buy something. They're just looking and, hopefully they buy something while they're there, but maybe to encourage spending money within our restaurants and our businesses, having some sort of a partnership or a collaboration that way. So you might get more people willing to be a part of the passport program or other items. That's all.
Any other comments before we go to public comment? We're going to open up public comment. Anybody wish to speak on this item? Ms. Best.
Really, I want to commend the Chamber and especially staff member Andrea Blockinger for her very efficient coordination of all of these events. We have met a couple of times. She is consistently in touch with me via email, and the Laverne Historical Society is very honored and pleased to be able to participate in a lot of these activities. And I would point out that so many of the activities that will come to fruition are happening because of the donation of time and effort by different community groups, including nonprofits. So good on all of us for doing that and showing how much we love our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. Any other public comment? We're going to close public comment, bring it back up the dais. Any comments for staff or any questions? Great job. Looks forward to, there's a lot of stuff to do. This is great, and we do have the money for it. As Mr. Crosby noted, this is out of our arts fund, not out of our general fund. So with that, I'll take a motion. No, do I have a motion to receive and file this report, provide direction on the proposed program efforts, and adopt a resolution appropriating $25,000 of public art funds from the General Capital Improvement Fund to support the banner program?
I so move.
Second?
Second.
You got it. Vote, please. Thank you, Andrea.
Motion by Crosby, seconded by Lau, approves item 10 of the discussion calendar 5-0.
Thank you. Our second discussion item is the Benita Unified School District Measure A, June 2026 election. Councilman Crosby and I asked for this item to be brought to the full council for consideration. And Mr. Crosby, you wanted to say something on this before we move on?
No, yeah, actually, yes, sorry. No, yes.
No,
yes,
no.
Yes. The state does not give monies to the school district to help and build buildings or redo their science labs or anything like that. We have to do that within the local community. I believe giving back to our local community gives back to us and our bills. I know it's a new tax and people are struggling everywhere right now, but this comes right back to us, our students, and our house prices go through the roof of how quality education that we have here in Benita Unified, and I do believe in this. So thank you for bringing this back to us for a council to hopefully approve this tonight.
And I will carry John to that. We had a discussion on that the reason why we have such a wonderful community is the schools that we have. And unfortunately, as Mr. Crosby stated, that the monies to repair infrastructure that's anywhere from 40 to 60 years old doesn't happen. Our HVAC systems are over 40 to 50, our sewer systems. We've had Measure A, B, and Measure C. And if I'm not mistaken, Measure AB sunsets in 31, and the Measure C sunsets in 36, 37. But these are part of our tax roll. It is a $59 per $100,000 of assessed value. But again, our home values and all of the things that we do in our community are based on Benita Unified with the kids going to school. We have distinguished schools. We have amazing campuses. But unfortunately, we do need to upkeep them and make them better for our students. I was on both of the bond measures as on the committee, and they run a very tight ship. They ran a real tight ship on the bond measures A, B, and C. And as we all know, construction's not easy, especially on a school campus when you have students, and they did a very good job. We only had one issue with one contractor that did vacate, which was our Performing Arts Center. Which was solved, and we were able to do that. And the last thing that was renovated on Measure C was the district offices, which was a call by the committee at the time that nothing is to be touched on the campus on the supervisors or on the district offices until all the schools were completed under the bond measures. And so with that, that's why we brought it forward as. Yes, new gym at the high school, performing arts. We've had solar projects. Infrastructure was done, but unfortunately, the electrical, HVAC, sewer, the buildings, I think, are 40 to 50 years old on the temporary portable buildings, and they need to be renovated. So that's why we brought it forward. Do you want to speak on that? I think we did pretty good there. So really, we're going to open up public comment on this item. We're going to go ahead and open up. That was the reason why. All of my children have gone through the Benita Unified School System. They've all done extremely well, as many other students. And on the dais here, I know we have multiple students that have gone through Benita Unified. There's always. Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and open up public comment. I know we have a couple cards here. We have Theodore Langle. Would you like to speak on this item, sir? Please come to the podium.
I am certainly not in opposition, but I would like to point out something to you. A $256 million school bond does not cost us taxpayers $256 million. After adding the cost of issuing the bond and the interest paid over 25 to 40 years, the total repayment is typically 2 to 3 times the principal. So for a $256 million authorization, taxpayers can expect a total cost between $700 million and $800 million. Under standard interest rates, and potentially over $1 billion if rates rise or capital appreciation bonds are used. The repayment comes from a dedicated property tax override. And as you mentioned, it's going to be about $56 per 100,000. And that means that if your assessed value is $1 million, you're going to end up paying roughly $600 a month or $600 a year more in taxes for the next 40 years. Okay. However, is there any alternative to that? There's no alternative? There is some alternatives. Number one, you could do a dedicated annual maintenance fund. You could do a pay-as-you-go capital program. You could look for state and federal matching funds, or you could find developers or joint partnerships that might be involved. You could do an independent facilities audit by somebody other than the bond providers, or you could do smaller short-term bonds, which would cut down on the interest rates and save you some money. But the most important thing that you probably need to do is ban capital appreciation bonds. That's where they add the cost of the bond to your $256 million, and it just astronomically up the amount of money that's going to have to be paid back. And I'm not going to be here to pay it back. I'm afraid to say, but my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren may be the ones that are still paying on this over the next 40 years. And there's a few other things, and for what it's worth, I will give that list of alternatives to you. Again, I'm certainly not in opposition to it. I support our schools. I will vote yes on it, of course. But for future use, you ought to consider getting away from the quick and easy fix of bonds and go to some of the other alternatives that are available. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lango. Appreciate the comments. You can leave it up here. Thank you very much. Jeff Grund. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, City Council, thank you for letting me speak. I want to thank our award winners earlier this evening, well-deserving. I am Jeff Grund, local resident, and I do want to speak in support of the bond, and I think what was said earlier in our meeting is exactly some of the reasons why we need to support the bond. Laverne, I heard, was a great city. Laverne is a city I want to be in. Laverne has great parks. Everything I've been hearing tonight was how great Laverne is. And I think it's essential that we pass the bond to not let our schools fall into disrepair. Some of the stuff that's been sent out by the bond or that's been talked about with the bond where plumbing is 40 years old, buildings are 45, 50 years old, air conditioners are 30 years old, and I don't want to exacerbate a cause or, throw gas on a fire or something like that, but we don't want our kids suffering in the heat. We don't want to have top-notch, top-level performing schools and our kids not have the best. We want our kids to have the best. Are there other options? The speaker before me mentioned that we could do yearly patches or a dedicated line in the budget. And unfortunately, we're in the same position many schools are in LA County, where we are at a point where we can't do all the things we want year by year. It is just not sustainable in the general fund as we have our budget guys up here. We're just at a point where we can't fix it all. We need to have stuff done, whether it's air conditioning or security cameras, science labs to keep our AP program top notch in both schools. We need this. So, I could go on and on. We need security cameras, right? We need asbestos and lead fixed. But at the end of the day, it comes down to supporting our kids. It comes down to, you hit it right on the head. It's about $59, $60. It's about $600 if you have a $1 million home. A lot of you residents in the room might have a home that's less than $1 million at an assessed value. But at the end of the day, I do think it comes down to the kids. I think it comes down to supporting the kids. I'm a parent of two. I got a kid going to Bonita. I got a kid at Oak Mesa. I'm going to be paying the bond for 30 years. And I'm happy to invest in the kids and to invest in the future. And I think if you look around the room and take a hard look, I think we're all willing, even when times are tough, to dig in and say, you know what, supporting the kids is one of the things at the top of the priority. So thank you for having me up here.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Any other comments on this item? Mr. Becker, how are you, sir?
Good. I hate to disagree with Jeff, two dogs. Jeff has two dogs at the park. And there's another guy, Jeff, that has one dog, so he's Jeff two dogs.
Jeff two and Jeff one.
I just have two simple things on it. Right now, I'm paying $848 a year on my property taxes for this present school bond that ends in 30. Now they are asking me to pay an additional $600 when the one was sold, whatever it was, 8 years ago. That was supposed to be taking care of the problems that now have reoccurred, and they shouldn't be reoccurring for another 5 years. So the other thing is I've sent 2 emails to the superintendent asking him what do 96 full-time employees at the building on San Dimas Canyon and I think it's either Gladstone or Allen Avenue, what do 96 full-time employees do there? And I've sent him twice. He hasn't answered me yet. I can't imagine that a medium-sized school district needs that many people in that building.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Come on up, sir. Mr. Bowen.
Evening again, Council. One clarification. I think Hillcrest is a great place. Hopefully, I never have to go there.
That was a double whammy. I love Hillcrest, but I hope I don't have to go there.
He seemed to indicate that I was against Hillcrest. I'm not.
No.
I'm talking
that
about
wasn't.
the money. This was a really nice brochure that the school sent out about 4 or 5 months ago, and I thought it was interesting because I kept it because I wondered how long it was going to be because the main line says, while no decision has yet been made. Well, we all know that's not true because this came out about a month later. And my first question is, how much do these cost? But back to Mr. Becker. I had the pleasure of paying my tax bill today. So I just found it interesting as this subject came up because I looked at it and you've got your assessed value, but then there's, on mine anyway, there's 12 extra taxes. 3 voted in debt to the tune of about $700, and there's 9 other district assessments to the tune total of $1,329. Again, this is my bill. Now, I've owned my house since 2021, so I'm probably on the lower end of the assessment. But I pay, in addition to my taxes, $1,300. And there's 12 of these. They want to add another one to the tune of another. I did the math. It looks like I would pay another $327. Now, I appreciate the fact that schools are great. I love the school, love the kids, think the school should be great. I don't think 80-degree rooms are going to make kids suffer, number one. But my question is, just like I questioned when we did the water survey, what have they been doing with the money they have? I remember when the state lotteries came in, and they said, this solves all the school problems forever. And you see lotteries that are almost $1 billion now. Where does all the money go? This is, to me, about money. So, yes, I appreciate it. I want to support the kids. I think it's great. I have. I looked it up. I've paid about $250,000 in taxes. So I think I have supported the kids. I sent 2 kids to Bonita. I paid my own kids to go to college. And I talked to the supervisor's office today, or the superintendent's office. He wasn't available. And she says, well, you know, if something's going wrong you don't in your house, you know, you don't necessarily know what's going to be broken next year. So that's why a lot of this comes up. And I said, yeah, the only difference is I can't go to my neighbor and ask him to pay for my roof. And that's what happens time and time again. There's a nice picture here of the sewers being plugged up with roots. Well, that didn't take a year. That didn't take 2 years. Where has the maintenance been this entire time? And now they need $256 million, as the gentleman just said, ends up being probably $600-700 million. It's got to end somewhere. There's got to be some accountability to all this. And I don't understand why the city, why isn't the superintendent here tonight? I think this is important. And in fact, LV3C had thought about this today. We're going to try to put together a meeting and invite him so that we can get answers from them, because I was asking questions today and they don't have the answers, just like I didn't get dollars to my questions. What has the maintenance been? What have you spent on maintenance in the past that suddenly you need $256 million? Next time my roof goes bad, when I go to my neighbors, it'll be interesting to see what kind of reception I get from them. So right now I am opposed, and I think the city should not pass this tonight and at least wait till we get some answers before the city, all of us that vote for you, are saying, yes, raise my taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bowen. Any other comments on that? Ms. Best.
I would like to speak in favor of the support by the City of Laverne for Measure A on the June 2026 election. You get what you pay for. I've attended 2 presentations by Superintendent Matthew Ween, and I understand that the monies from this bond will address critical infrastructure, not the pretty things like the Performing Arts Center, but things like plumbing, like HVAC, like science equipment for the labs, like upgrading of the portables. All of these are important things. Funding this bond will add comfort and safety for our students, their dedicated teachers, and the support staff. The Bonita Unified School District provides stellar services for our students, and I think we need to show how much we care about them. One more comment. Unlike many people who have spoken here, I never did have a child who attended the Bonita Unified School District. I moved here when my daughter was a junior in high school, and she now lives out of state, so her property taxes are funding somebody else's school district. But I am, as a taxpayer, very happy to pay this additional money for the duration of the time that this bond will be paid for, because I think we need to pay it forward for our kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. Any other comments on this item? Seeing none, we close public comment. Do we have any comments from, oh, I'm sorry. Come on up, Cynthia. Ms. Tyner. Didn't see you over there raising.
Okay, I'm just going to say this real simple and down to earth. I'm really tired of being asked over and over again for more money for something that we've already been asked to pay. When it came to the lottery, I did not vote for that because I knew this was going to happen. I'm tired. I'm tired of money being mismanaged, of money being paid for things that I didn't agree to. I'm just tired of that. I say no, I'm not going to be in agreement with this because I'm tired of money being spent incorrectly. And I think everybody would be, if they could see a list of everything where their tax money went, that goes with everything. They wouldn't agree, but for this, my kids are no longer going to school here, and I do support the kids, but I don't support the adults that are mismanaging this money. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any other comments? Yes, please.
Chantal Stever. I'm one of the people who will be paying these taxes for many years, and I fully support the bond. Education costs money, buildings cost money, and these kids are our future. Costs for buildings have risen a lot, especially in the last year, and the kids will be leading the city as we age, and we need to support the safe education of our community and the future of our people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments on this item? Kathy Newland, come on up. Hello.
My question is just that I've heard that there's like 20% of the students that don't even live in Laverne or San Dimas. So we're going to be footing the bill for the kids that don't live and use our schools. So do you have any answers for that? I mean, we're going to be paying for it, but they don't live in San Dimas or Laverne.
I know we have some transfers, but I do not know the number of students.
I heard
Do you know?
20%.
Rick?
It is about 20%, but all districts around are declining enrollment. Bonita is not declining enrollment because of the education and the level of the arts and stuff that are here. I know the school district gets approximately about $13,000 per student, and so when they have declining enrollment, then because of less childbirth is really what declining enrollment across the state is, that they would get, but they've kept their enrollment by bringing in other students, which they get money for those students.
So each student, like as normal, gets paid by the state. So, yeah.
Does that equal what we're going to be paying in taxes? Or?
That would be a number of students and how, that would be I can't answer that question. We could find out from the
other thing that I've seen online is a lot of people are saying that it's the homeowners that are going to be taxed and not the renters. But I live in a mobile home, so I do rent. I own my home, but I rent. And that's misjudging that completely because our landlords are going to raise our rent. They're not just going to eat that cost. So that's another misnomer that people are giving out. So, okay, thank you.
Points well taken. I will ask the superintendent on that. Jamie. He's running.
Hi, Mayor Hepburn, City Council.
How are you?
So I have a unique perspective. In one, I chose not to have children. So I'm part of that problem. But two, I have a sibling who is a teacher at a high school, a couple districts over. And so I come advocating on the teachers' behalf. Investing in our schools is investing in our community's future. A school bond will provide the funding necessary to modernize the aging facilities. I know it's easy to say that students should be able to learn in 80-degree classrooms, but that's quite honestly not realistic. And so if they're having sewer issues, if they're having AC issues, or on a cold, rainy day, they can't have heat, that impacts the student's ability to learn. And when they have up-to-date technology, then teachers do their best works, and students are better positioned to succeed and give back in their communities long-term from a social economic perspective. So I know that raising our taxes on top of everything else is not what people want to do, but it's really necessary that we invest in our schools, and this is the way I would support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Anyone else on this item? We're going to close public comment and bring it up. Oh, please. I can't see on that corner over there. For some, I'm blind in this eye, I guess.
My name is Gloria, and I just wanted to say, if this bond does pass, who's going to hold these people accountable for how they're going to spend that money? Because that's a big problem we're having, is accountability. So who's going to be responsible for that? Do you have an answer for that?
I actually do. There will be a bond oversight committee, which I was part of the first two. I know Robin Carter was on it, Roger Hannawalt, Steve was on it. Nothing can be spent that's dedicated to that bond on anything else other than what's on the bond. And it's quite a large group of people, and we had a lot of deep discussions with the general contractor, with the staff from Benita Unified, with their financial person. And so nothing was done other than was what on the bond issuance of the repairs, which would be HVAC, which would be plumbing. So it's not like your normal construction site, like your high-speed rail. I know that's what everybody's talking about, and I know what Cynthia's talking about. There's nothing that's going to be done on this bond and construction-wise that's not overseen by a body of individuals in the area, and also there is a strict list that they have to go by in order for the bond to be paid out for those specific items and tasks that they're putting in the bond. That's why they're very specific on the bond.
And in addition to that, then, we talked about 95 people, and I'm assuming that number's correct. Somebody mentioned 95 people that's supposed to be in charge of maintenance for the schools. Who holds them accountable for what they are doing, or the budget that they have for that?
That would be the
Because
95. That would be the 95 people that are at the administration level of Benita Unified. I don't know the number, but they all have their tasks, and we are a very efficient school district. And I'm sure that Matt Ween and also the school board keep control of that. But it is at the district level, and that's.
But if they're not here at the meeting, then how do we know? How do we have an answer to that?
As the school board meetings. That's really where you have to go, is the school board meetings. We as a body, we don't get involved with the school board policies as per se, but this issuance is because of the fact that it's such a large undertaking, and the fact that mine personally and Mr. Crosby personally believe that this is a good thing for the schools. But the school board, as you have questions for them, you need to go to the school board. They're a total separate entity, a total separate overseeing body like us, council. They have school board members, 5 of them, along with Matt Ween, along with their attorney. And that's where you really need to ask those questions as far as staff level.
Well, yeah, and hopefully they'll answer them, because if they don't answer their email, it makes me question that. But, yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Can I quickly?
You've already been up, sir?
I think you misstated.
What? I'll let you. What was that?
Okay. It's my understanding that they're asking money for a general fund on this bond issue. They're not asking for specific items. The specific items takes 2/3.
You might be correct on that, Bruce. I'll have to check. I think you're right. It is a general bond issuance of 50 plus 1. It is 50 plus 1. But they will be specific on the construction they're going to do when they start it, and the bond and the oversight committee will be in charge of that, overseeing what's going on with construction.
But what school bonds cannot be used for is personnel salary. It could be it's on building and construction only.
I understand
yeah.
that, but I just was disagreeing with what he said.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
It's a 50 plus 1.
The only salaries, because the speaker before, like mismanagement of money and stuff, It can't be used for the superintendent's salary or things like that. It can be used for the construction people's salary to help pay for it to build it, or the oversight of that, but it's not of school employees' salary. So a teacher can't get a raise because of a school bond that's paid out.
Well, and to be clear, if you look at the agenda item under the discussion section under paragraph, the first paragraph, it talks about what the bond measure is for. That's general obligation bonds to fund school facility improvements. It talks about how it proposes to levy a tax. It also talks about the accountability provisions that are required under Prop 39. So it has a whole list of the parameters that are there to make sure that the money is not mismanaged. So the information is there.
Oversight.
If you want to learn more about the oversight.
Yeah, it's total oversight. Yes. Okay. Public comment is closed. Do we have any other comments on this item?
I think what I just stated in the very beginning is that I have full support of the school district going for this bond. I know one of the items that they are really pushing for is science labs in the high schools. Their science labs are not update and adequate, and this will help all of our students. As other people, my students of my own children have already passed and gone through, but my housing keeps going up because of the grades of the schools and what they're outputting as well. And people want to come in and live in our community and be part of our community because of Bonita Unified. Of that 20% of students that might be from the outside and wanting to come in, they are not just only coming in and going to school and going home, but they are also staying around and using our businesses and being part of our community and being part of all the programs. They have an outstanding, not only academics, but arts and athletics program as well, and brings the whole child that what they teach. So I really do appreciate Bonita Unified.
Any other comments?
I would just want to say that I, too, am in support of the bond measure. Like Jamie, chose not to have kids, don't have kids. I could very selfishly say, I don't want this because how does it affect me? And the reality is that the children are our future. And if we don't provide for them, if we don't make sure that they have the things that they need so that they can be successful, then we're going to be in a bigger world of hurt than we already are. And so I think it's necessary to provide the environment in which they can learn and achieve and become good contributing citizens to our community. And I think that, if you want to say, well, how can an 80-degree classroom, how does that matter? They should toughen up. They should this. Yeah, I lived through smog days. Doesn't mean anybody else's kids should. I lived through, bad days like that too. And that's not the environment I think kids should have to learn in. So, I think this is really important. And if we, as Councilmember Crosby said, if we want to enjoy the type of community that we have where there are good schools, where we have good property values, then these are the things that we need to invest in. So I'm in favor.
Thank you, Councilmember Lau. Councilmember Johnson?
I also am in favor of the bond measure. My children have gone through the Bonita Unified School District. I've gone through the Bonita Unified School District. And at some point, I'm hoping my grandchildren will go through the Bonita Unified School District. But it's just a part of life in that we build these beautiful buildings, age takes its toll, and repairs need to be made. I am going to support this bond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mayor Pro Tem Cash.
I'm good, Mayor. Good. I mean, my kids obviously they did not go through Bonita Unified School District. They went through a path of Catholic schools, which is what I believe that they should do. But that's something different. I am a product of Bonita Unified District. Although you may disagree of how I turned out, let it be known I am a product of Laverne, and it's a good city, and it is a good city because of the schools, right? And so I am in support. I'll always be going to be in support of our future because as a young kid, I remember I sat here, and I think it was Mr. Bailey's class. It was in 5th grade. It was in Roynan when we came here, and I sat in the seat, and who knew all these years, right? But here we are. So whatever we can do to support our future, I will always be there to support our future because I look forward to that young guy, young woman, whatever it is, you want to come over here and you want to and represent our city, and always remember, put your city first above all else. So, God, country, family, that's what I believe. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I do appreciate all the comments. Yes, it is a tax increase, but I believe in our district, being on the committees before, seeing how this construction was done. This is probably not the last time, I will say, that this is going to happen. There are other things that need to be done. This next bond issuance is for specific items. The committee will make sure it's done that way. I trust my school board. I do trust Matt Ween. He's been trained by the best as far as the superintendent of the schools and his staff. And I would highly suggest, let us know if you're not getting a hold of the people you need to get a hold of. Please let me know. They're very open for discussion. Anyone at the school district. They run a very tight ship. Like all of us here, like our budget, they're under some severe restraints as far as costing and their general fund also. But at the end of the day, I do support this. I think it's the right thing to do. And I think that it's going to improve our schools and make it better for our kids, and also our values of our homes are going to continue to go up. With that, do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Vote, please.
Item 11, motion by Crosby, seconded by Cashel Fagita, and approved 5-0.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
And for a small fee, I have a photo of Steve Johnson's 5th grade photo running. Anyone like to see? I got one too, Steve. Because me and him went to the library and I see my 5th grade photo.
Okay, can we continue?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Bad emotion.
Our final discussion item is the SGV COG and City of Pomona proposed Aero Highway Class 4 bikeway design. Mr. Howling, will you please come? Oh, look at that, how fast he was.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Yes, this item is a revisit of the subject matter involving the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments and the City of Pomona's proposed Class 4 bikeway on Aero Highway. As Council might recall, we're good. I'll just, yeah, that works. We'll make it work.
Yes. This is a general project that will benefit the entire community. So it has the same effect on you as everyone else.
So we are revisiting the subject at that meeting that was held on January 20th. COG staff gave a presentation to City Council. We also received feedback from Council and the community on some concerns. The next step following that meeting, the COG's consultant went through some of those items, in fact, all of them actually, and produced a technical memo to address those items brought up. So I am here tonight to present those items. And at the conclusion of the meeting or the presentation, if there are other questions, I also have city engineer from the City of Pomona, Arnold DeCosa, and then we have Roy and John Boucher from the COG on the teleconference system. So next slide, please. So as was presented back on January 20th, this is the overall project. It's the aerial view, and you can see the color, the green, the orange, red, and we call it blue line segments. That is the Pomona project with specific concern of what we're going to focus on tonight. There is the circle or oval off to the left side of the screen. That's Aero Highway. Generally, the limits are from White Avenue to Fulton, and that's where the proposed bikeway is located. Next slide, please. As a refresher for everybody, what is the current condition out there right now? So if you were standing in the intersection of White Avenue and Aero, looking east towards Pomona, you would see 3 lanes heading eastbound. And that most right lane there, the number 3 lane, that's the white arrow, that's being proposed to be converted to the bike lane. Next slide, please. So that 13-foot wide lane is going to be turned into a pair of 5-foot bike lanes in a 3-foot buffer. The rest of the lanes generally remained untouched in concept. There are some adjustments to the median, and that's the general gist of what's being proposed by the COG and the City of Pomona.
Cody, what is that 3-foot buffer? Is that just lines on the ground?
Yes, sir.
Where people would be riding their bikes against traffic coming westbound?
Yep. So this one is a bi-directional bike lane, so you're exactly right. We have two directions of traffic, so there will be westbound bikes in the eastbound side of the street. This is a Class 4 bike lane, and I won't go through the rest of the classes, but a Class 4 bike lane is basically the thing that designates it from some of the other bike lanes is that it's got a vertical barrier. Now, in this cross-section, the software doesn't let us put a vertical barrier, but that that 3-foot buffer will have delineators, flexible delineators, or some other acceptable vertical barrier. I think it's currently, the plastic. They are generally spaced between 10 and 20 feet as the standards go, but they're there to emphasize to folks that this is not a lane for vehicles to drive in,
and also not a lane for bikes to be going the wrong way.
Correct. Yes. Yeah, the bikes would stay within their designated space. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just see a lot of times when there's a bike lane and there's a big group of bikers,
they take it all.
They come into where the car lane is sometimes. This will not, and coming in the opposite way of traffic, that worries me driving down there if there's a bunch of people in your lane come at you.
Yes. So one of the things with bicycles is sometimes not all of the rules of the road are followed. Because we are giving or considering the lane conversion to a designated bikeway, that I think certainly would help, PD, whether it's Pomona or Laverne, enforce any type of large peloton groups that might be exceeding the boundaries of the intended design space for that.
Cody, may I ask one question?
Yes, sir.
What is the actual distance from the pickup from Laverne on White to the connection to Pomona? What is that distance?
So the city boundaries vary some. So from White to the city boundary, if you're going eastbound, it's approximately 850 feet.
Okay.
And that would put you at the easterly boundary of the Lordsburg community there on the south side of the street.
Westbound's a little longer?
Westbound will take you out to Fulton. That length is probably exceeding 1,000 feet, probably starting to push 2,000 feet.
I remind everybody that our pedestrian bridge is 1,500 feet long. So in the correlation to that, it's not that.
No. And
a very quick jaunt.
Yes, within the city of Laverne. As far as Pomona, it does extend out to Mountain, which would be their easterly boundary with Claremont. Okay, so that's what's being proposed. We have an aerial view here. It gives you an idea of what the intersection will look like. So the question might come up. We have 3 eastbound lanes on the east side of White Avenue. How do we go from 3 to now? Sorry, we had 3. How do we go from 3 to 2? That process would be accomplished with a right turn drop lane. So you'll notice on the left side of the screen, there is a merge that would occur generally in front of the Fairplex. And then there would be a right turn only lane to where if you're in that furthest outside lane, you would go southbound onto White Avenue. So,
Cody, do you have the red? Do you have the laser? Just to kind of give us, just so you can show us exactly where it is. Because with Lordsburg Court and Councilmember Lau likes the little red thing. She likes that red dot. Yeah, okay. He used to watch. He used to watch The Wonderful World of Disney.
All right, so
where do I live?
So I'll do it.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
He's over there. Good. Okay. So north is White Avenue, east and west is Arrow. So we have 3 existing lanes right here, and we're proposing to turn those 3 lanes into 2 vehicle lanes and 1 bi-directional bike lane, which is the dashed and the hatch markings down there. So how do we make that conversion? It would be a merge lane that occurs for eastbound traffic approaching White, and they would be merging if they wanted to continue east into Pomona, or if they wanted to go south onto White, they would stay in that lane and become a right turn drop lane is what we call it. So one of the nice things right now is, as the mayor mentioned, this is about 850 linear foot of 3 lanes, but that number 3 lane, where the bike lane is proposed to occupy, is a merge lane. So what you have is a situation of weaving traffic, is what we call it. And so one of the things, very much like we've all probably driven on the 5760 interchange. There's a lot of movement there as the cars move from one freeway to the next, and so it may not be that there's not enough lanes. It's that the movement of traffic does cause a lot of decisions to be made in a short period of time. So we would move that over. It would allow traffic to organize, and if folks are turning right and they're going southbound, which White Avenue honestly is a quite heavily traveled street, that might help organize traffic so it moves smoothly and continues on.
How long is that approach on the dedicated right lane?
This approach, well, that would be designated by the width and the speed. Off the top of my head,
what's it planned out to be?
It's probably about 600 feet or so. Yeah.
Yeah, plenty of time.
Yeah. So, next slide, please. We got another view of much of what we had talked about. This one kind of extends out further east. You'll see the enhanced green pavement markings, and that's helped to identify to both vehicle drivers and bicyclists that they're entering a potential conflict zone. So you'll see that, and that'll be repeated throughout the rest of the design. We have the Lordsburg entryway here, which we'll come back to in a minute, but just again, another overview of what the proposed alignment and conditions will be. So again, it's 3 lanes eastbound. Proposal is to drop the number 3 lane, but I must emphasize that number 3 lane only exists for about 850 feet until it disappears
It's into
anyways.
Laverne Avenue.
Yeah. It turns into on-street parking in Pomona. Yeah, because Pomona's just on the other side, probably about where my pointer is now off the screen. And then it will return for Laverne Avenue as that slip lane comes back in, going east towards Gary, where it intersects.
Yeah.
Correct. Bicycles will be going east and west on the south side of the street.
On one side?
Yes.
Be on the south side.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. In this area, west approaching? Yes. So right now, these plans are hovering at about 60%. Pending council's guidance, they will move forward towards 100%, whatever version that might be. This area will get more design. There is at least going to be a ramp here that then corrals bicycles to get up onto the sidewalk, and then they will cross as a pedestrian at this point with the pedestrian crossing.
There's no other way to do it, though. Cody, there's no other way to do it. I mean, it's ending. It ends right there.
Yeah, at this stage of where it ends, yes, yeah, that would be what happens, and
then no, it's dangerous.
Well, so one of the things that I will say is that there's design guidelines that standardize these bike lanes, and that has been implemented throughout and will continue to be implemented. But I hear and understand and don't disagree that bicyclists sometimes might lack certain levels of education or, following the rules. And I would hope that that's generally the minority, but the design elements there are intended to be uniform within national and state standards for these types of bike lanes.
And to just make it clear, too, this design of having it on the south side of both directions of the bikes is not our design. It was Pomona's design, and they are doing it prior. It's only coming back to us for this short section. So, though I do not like it at all, and a lot of times Pomona's ideas seem to be backwards. But that's their design, and it's us to keep the design going or not. And I believe to keep the design going till white, and that's about it, not to go farther on.
And I'm going to just carry John to that. This is basically, this is their design. This is how we get to to White Avenue, that this is a terminus right there until future on Arrow Highway where we pick it up, when we do the enhancements. Hopefully we can work with the COG, work with our funding to get the remainder of the bike lanes to be in a safe area, because Arrow Highway is very busy. But I will say that this is their design, and this is going to save us $200,000 to $300,000 on this proposal here to get this portion cleaned up, fixed up. Anyway, you had a Councilmember Lau.
I mean, I will say that I did walk this with Cody and with Danny the other day. And so what I will say that I do like about the design is the turning the lane before you cross across White, making it a right turn lane, because the amount of traffic that is weaving where you see where the bike lane would be now is pretty bad, especially during traffic. Like, people don't realize that the lane ends. So people are like trying to get over really quick. But a lot of the concerns that have been raised about, will the bicyclists do the right thing? I mean, I think the same could be posed about motorists in terms of, are they paying attention for bicyclists? So I think it's going to be a learning curve for those of us exiting that community or entering that community to be looking out for the cyclists. And the cyclists also need to be similarly apprised. And so everything that is new is going to take some time before it gets old, right? Before we get used to it. So, like I said, we had some concerns, especially with the parking that happens up in Pomona later on, but Cody and Danny were able to explain it in a way that makes sense. I mean, I think there are still some, let's see how this goes, but I feel much better than we did than this was discussed at the.
Moving on to the next slide. So, with the feedback received back in January, we needed to conduct what was basically a traffic study. And the traffic studies take a quantitative analysis and assess what is being proposed, what is the existing conditions, and what does that mean for the future conditions, if so pursued. As the report cards, we all probably recall, the level of service gets graded similar, A, B, C, D. There is an E in there, and F. So A is generally positive with free-flowing traffic, plenty of capacity, whereas F, you're at capacity and you're probably experience delays and slower traffic. One thing I want to identify to everybody is the grading system's a little bit different from what we might recall in school. Is the A is not 90%, it's actually 55% or 60% for roadway or intersection. But the way that we come up with that percentage is inverted. So if you had a volume of 10 cars on a street that had the capacity of 10 cars, 10 divided by 10 would equal 1, and there you have a F grade. Now, if you take 10 cars divided by 100, you'd be 0.1, and you're up here with the A. So just some context to what that means in the background of it. Next slide, please. So traffic counts were taken from a previous project at the intersection that originated in 2022. The traffic engineers, for the sake of moving things along in a conservative fashion, selected an annual growth of those traffic data by 2%. I must emphasize to everybody in the room that the regional growth that's been identified by the county is actually 0.6%. So they used a very conservative inflator to ensure that any issues were, extended and well visible if they were to come from any of these proposed improvements. So what was evaluated was the 2026 numbers without the right turn, which we'll call that the no build, and the 2026 with the right turn, which is the build option. You'll notice in the AM peak and the PM peak, the difference is, well, there are none. It's B, B, D, D for those two. Now, there is an incremental difference in the volume to capacity ratio. So there is something that comes out in the data that by taking a lane out, you are reducing the capacity. But the overall grade is still the same. D doesn't sound like a report card grade you probably want. But, however, it is something that is a classification or a level of service that is acceptable to the city's traffic impact study guidelines. So it's functional. A is always better than a D, but it is functional nonetheless. So moving on to the next slide. Sorry, that was for the intersection. I should have clarified that. Then they analyzed the roadway segment And that went from an A in the 2024 existing condition with the counts that we had at that time, to a slightly lower A, in the 2026 projections. So again, something is occurring there, that traffic is losing capacity, but the overall impact stays within an acceptable level of service. Next slide, please. The other thing that we looked at, or that their consultant looked at, that we had evaluated based on the feedback from the other meeting, was the amount of queuing length, the storage capacity that the Lordsburg community could handle outside of their gates as people are coming into that community. That area has approximately 60 feet of storage space on site without encountering or encroaching into the vehicle lanes, and that would be the number 3 lane that we're talking about for the conversion. And based on the analysis, it does appear that plenty of capacity is allowed. They can stage probably about 3 cars. Of course, there is the odd situation that might be somebody stuck at the gate, but using statistical data from ITE, which is the national standard for developing these studies, it was identified that there is no additional staging or queuing space needed beyond what was already allowed for in the existing conditions. So next slide. Safety analysis was also conducted. Both Pomona and Verne evaluated the crash history or collision history data. Notably, there wasn't any standout collisions for the eastbound direction. There was a few rear enders in the westbound direction and a few intersection collisions, but particularly in the area where this bike lane is proposed, there was nothing of note within at least the last 5 years. The other item that this will enhance is by adding a Class 4 protected bikeway. It does create a space for the bicycles to use where it's designated. They've got their space to ride east and west, whereas today there is no space. Bicyclists could ride on the street. It is quite a swift street, and so I think you'll find that most bicyclists might be on the sidewalk, not only causing potential risk to pedestrians, but still potential risk for collisions and backup intersection issues. And then finally, the last checkpoint, they're converting the eastbound outer curb adjacent 3rd lane, where it is currently merging into the 2 lanes, will help manage traffic flowing in a more orderly fashion, as we had discussed, eliminating that weaving motion there. Next slide. So bringing it back to the fiscal impact, this is a project led by the San Gabriel Valley COG in partnership with the City of Pomona. These improvements that are being discussed tonight are the extensions of those improvements into the City of Verne. I want to emphasize and highlight that pavement, I think we can all agree the pavement in that area is rough, and repaving this street would be part of the scope. So one thing that's being considered is the completion of the pavement, and that would be a Laverne cost share for the full width of the area outside of the project area, and that cost is estimated to be $528,000 and change. Now, taking into consideration what if the City of Laverne were to go it alone, we would potentially lose the opportunity for economies of scale, and we expect that the individual move-ahead cost of that project would be more to the tune of $775,000. So there is some potential savings for the City of Laverne pavement-wise. The other nice thing is design and construction will be funded by the COG and the City of Pomona through their project that is already active. Next slide. Project schedule. Right now, as I had stated, project sitting around 60% planned. With feedback tonight, they will move forward with a version of 100%, whether that includes the bike lanes or not, in the City of Laverne. Construction is expected to begin in spring of 2027. And right now, they're projected to complete construction by fall of 2027, just in time for the Olympics. One thing that I do want to emphasize, was brought up in the last meeting, was the media improvements that we have just recently finished. I will say that there is not, it'd be inaccurate to say that there are no impacts to the medians. However, the irrigation system and much of the trees have been shifted around or adjusted to ensure that if this project were to move forward and those medians were to be modified, we would be losing, well, losing is probably not the right word. The location of about 6 trees right now would be transformed into pavement. With the proposed layout that Pomona and COG are proposing, the medians would be adjusted and we might be able to replant some of those trees because they're fairly young. Whether or not that's cost effective and they choose just to replace the trees outright would be something that probably is visited in more detail as we get closer to 2027, if that's the direction of council to move ahead with the bike lanes as proposed. As I stated, I have city engineer from the city of Pomona as well as COG staff on the teleconference system. But that concludes my report, and I appreciate everybody's time.
Thank you, Cody. We're going to go to public comment. I'm going to open up public comment on this. Jamie. And then you, Mr. Becker, next. Jamie's behind you here.
Mayor Hepburn, City Council. So first I wanted to take a moment to thank city staff, especially Cody and Danny, for coming out and walking the street at 4:30 in the afternoon with all the traffic coming through. And walking us through how that's going to work and really helping us to understand that. Living down there, they gave me a great map in big print so I could really kind of understand what the impact was. So the proposed adjustment to convert the number 3 lane to a right-hand dedicated turn lane rather than the existing merge at Lordsburg Court directly addressed what my biggest concern was in January. I did want to make note that we do see this play out when the Fairplex has events and they leave right where the drags are. They merge all of those lanes, and when you cross over that intersection at White, when you're headed east, it helps with the merging because everybody's already pushed over. And PD pushes everybody in the right lane when they come out to go south onto White. So we see that. So super excited about that. And then I know that we have probably some landscaping that we'll need to fix because there's a giant pole on the sidewalk right there. Because we talked about it with Cody that the streets and the sidewalks are not really, they've been there for decades. So they're not exactly easy to move around. So we'll probably need to work with the city on, how do we make sure that you have no blind spots when you come out the back gate. We call it the back gate, but it's the second gate, not the first one. That being said, ultimately the long-term benefit of repaving Arrow Highway more than outweighs any change in the traffic pattern. So I'm supportive of this moving forward. So thank you.
Jamie. Appreciate that. Mr. Becker.
This is just laughable. This must be the same people that did the 5760 interchange and the 57210 interchange, because this is, I don't know, it's just idiocy. You're going to have, has anybody ever been on Baseline on Saturday or Sunday morning when you have 50 to 75 bicycle guys? They're going to funnel into one lane. If they're on Arrow Highway, you're going to have a full-time traffic guy there with a stop slow sign. I mean, the other thing is, if this thing stops at White Avenue, they turn right. What happens if they turn right on White Avenue and they get to the Bonita Avenue? You've condensed all those lanes there. Now you're going to have 50 to 75 bicyclists turning onto White Avenue, and this is just a complete disaster. You're doing this because Pomona wants you to do it. It's like, I think somewhere I've read there's a bridge to nowhere. This is a bridge to nowhere. This is a bike lane to nowhere. If you're going to have a bike lane, have it go all the way through the town. Don't get sucked into Pomona wanting to extend it to, probably their reasoning is, the Pomona residents need to get to the metro station. Come on, this is, I just have a hard time believing all those bicyclists are going on opposite directions. Okay, so let's take worst case scenario. What's the big fad in Laverne right now with kids? Electric bikes. You're going to have electric bikes on this thing? You know how many kids are going to get maimed or die? Kids going 22 miles an hour on this thing, and now they're coming up. Somebody's going slower than them. They can't pass. I mean, I can't think of. I mean, I could go on and on, but this is just idiotic.
Thank you, Mr. Becker. Please.
Chantal Stieber. As a person who commutes by bike, I prefer a two-way protected bike path over just bike lane paint or share rows. I'm biking these roads every day with my kids to commute, to bring them to school, I'm the safest and a fully protected two-way bike path, such as what Pomona has designed. My kids could bike on this. My kids could not bike just on painted bike lanes that go in the direction of traffic, like on Bonita. I fully support Laverne extending the protected bikeway on Arrow Highway to city limits and coordinating with SGB COG for consistent design. The Class 4 protected bikeway is critical for supporting safe transportation for all, including kids and disabled people, especially given the concern from many in the city regarding e-bike use by kids and concern for kids' safety. It's imperative that we support the freedom of mobility for kids to provide them with safe places to bike, such as protected bike lanes. As a parent, my kids have few places where they can safely bike. Class 4 protected bike path on Arrow would give kids the freedom and opportunity to explore our wonderful city and neighboring cities. Also, bike path supports people traveling to the Laverne A-Line station and the fairgrounds, which likely will reduce car congestion by providing alternative transportation access. Finally, I strongly encourage a fixed vertical barrier such as a curb and not only flex posts to separate bikes from cars and extending the curb at the intersection to protect the end of the bikeway. I would love to see this bikeway continue in a similar fashion through Laverne in the future. Second comment from my 8-year-old, who couldn't be here because it's way past his bedtime, is that he's really hoping for a proper protected bikeway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment on this item? Seeing none, we're going to close public comment. Bring it up to dais. Councilmember Lau.
I think, again, Cody has heard and Danny has heard some of the issues, or many of the issues that we've raised, having living down in the area, and seeing what the traffic looks like, and actually, having a lived experience in that area on a daily basis and not just conjecture. So I think that a lot of those questions and concerns were answered. I do echo what Chantel mentioned about, we've got the flexible barriers that will be a visible deterrent and also a physical deterrent, but any other items that can be designed and installed that would make it further protected would be appreciated. But I do appreciate the time that you took to take us out there and take a look at it. And again, this is coming from folks who actually live in the area and have to deal with it daily.
Councilmember Crosby.
Thank you. I did like to hear that there was some type of protection rather than just paint on the ground, because the fear of the larger groups that will withhold them, so they would not be able to go into those other lanes. Although the design is not our design, but to continue it to white is the only thing appropriate, because they would be only ending it 850 feet away from the core. So I do agree with that, and like that there is a barrier, some there as right now, as though that might not have been my design, but I wasn't part of those conversations from the very beginning. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Crosby. Councilmember Johnson.
I do believe that this whole area on Arrow Highway needs to be repaved. That's a must, and I don't want to delay that at all. I have concerns about the bike lanes and how that flow is actually going to happen, but getting it repaved is the number one priority.
Thank you, Councilmember Johnson. Mayor Pro Tem Cash.
Thank you, Cody, and thank other amazing engineers that kind of put all this together for me, and thank the city of Pomona for at least paying for this, not out of our pocket. I am not a bike enthusiast. I don't. If I was,
I want them to.
If I was, yeah. Hopefully, they get the opportunity. We make all of Arrow Highway, better again, right? So thank you, Cody. We appreciate it. And I wish I rode bikes. I'd be 20 pounds lighter, but one day. I won't put on those shorts.
We'll make it safe for you.
Yeah, would you make it safe again?
You never quite know what's going to come out of the man's mouth.
And that suit-tie combination, phenomenal, Cody.
Thank you, sir.
You got it.
We're also design fashion tistas here. First of all, I want to thank Cody. I want to thank Director Wu. I also want to thank all this COG staff, John Boucher, Michael, Roy Choi, Stacy Baird, and the city of Pomona. We appreciate you bringing this forward. And to comment to Mr. Becker's comment, You may not like this, but it's happening, and it's happening everywhere in the San Gabriel Valley. They are trying to put more people out in the open that are protected. There's also one, I just had a construction meeting at the COG, and there are over 100 miles of improved bike lanes on all of our washes and things, areas where people can ride freely and have open areas to go. And this is bringing it back to what the roots of California are, is open streets, active transportation. And mind you, that a lot of this funding comes from state and federal. So you got to remember that this is a pocket of money. Yes, Pomona had to put some money in, but at the end of the day, most of it, I'd say about 85% of it, is provided by grants from this. And if it wasn't for the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, this kind of stuff would not happen. And it is open streets, it is active transportation, and it's happening everywhere. And there's a lot of money to be spent in the next 10 years. I think ultimately it needs to be done. I appreciate them having us partner with them. I think this is going to be a good thing for our community, and I really appreciate the staff working with Jamie and Councilmember Lau, because of the fact they live right there, they understand the situation, and they were explain what was going on. So with that, I do also support this. I think it's a great addition. It's going to be beautiful. It needs to be done. My goodness, it needs to be done. If we can put some bike lanes and people wish to travel that, when they terminus there, we'll have to figure that out in the next few years and see if we can get some money from our friends and get that designed on Arrow Highway. With that, I need a motion. Let's see, I'm going to do it. There's a motion to support coordination with the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments, City of Pomona, to advance the Class 4 bikeway along Arrow Highway, consistent with Pomona City Council approval. Approved alternate 4, confirm the preferred bikeway terminus at the White Avenue Arrow Highway intersection with the City of Laverne. Direct staff to work with partner agencies to incorporate traffic signal modifications, pavement rehabilitation with the city segment as appropriate. Authorize city staff to continue design and coordination, and return to the City Council with the required agreements, cost-sharing arrangements, or approvals necessary for the project implementation. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second?
Second.
Vote, please.
Item 12, motion by Lau, seconded by Cashel Fagita. It is
I approve,
approved.
but I don't like it.
It is approved 5-0.
I know. I was like, wow.
He can, yeah.
It's a free country.
But not when he says yes.
Got him.
Okay. There is no other business tonight, so we move on to public comments. This is the time set aside for anyone wishing to address the City Council on items not listed on the agenda within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. Brown Act prohibits the City Council from engaging in discussion on any item not on the posted agenda. Your concerns may be referred to staff or placed for discussion at a later date. With that, at this time, wishing to speak, please come to the podium. Do we have anybody for public comment? Ms. Kalusik.
Kathy Kalusek, 3rd Street. Quick one. I was looking at resident information, and on Saturday, April 11th, it says Craft Fair Monero Square. I thought it was here in the community center. I just want to I want the craft fair to be successful, so I want to just clarify where it is.
I have a head nod from our Parks and Rec director that it is at the community center. So
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, Mr. Becker.
Number 3, huh?
Almost killed you.
All right. First of all, my name is Bruce Becker. I'm a 50-year resident of Laverne, so I've been here a long time. And I can't believe that you voted 5-0 on that. That's somebody's going to die. All right. So I'm going to try to do this in 3 minutes. I'll go over a little over 3 minutes. I know you've let the Heritage president, twice I've seen she said 5 minutes. For some reason, you don't stop her, so I'll see what you do. Number 1, the city handling of the water rate was a complete debacle, and I decided to look into some other things. The mayor blamed Bob Russey and Dan Kesey on this debacle. So I thought that was somewhat unprofessional to blame those two guys when they weren't able to respond. And the cost, not only the water rates, the cost of the water meter is going to go from $51 to $85. The sewer rate's going to double. But there are only two reasons that I can see that this happened. One is that the city council didn't know anything about it, or the city council knew something about it and didn't do anything. Either one of those is inexcusable. And I don't know which one it is, but it has to be one of those two things. And everybody on here has been around since 2024, so you guys are accountable. Okay. So let's just talk. We've talked about $600 more in property taxes for the wastewater wants another 15%. Electricity wants another 13%. Everybody wants money. When does all this stop? I have no idea. Okay, so I looked into some other things because I got started. So I looked into overtime. I went back as far as I could to 2011. That's as far as back I could go. At that time, there were 6 employees that had over $25,000 in overtime in 2011. Then I went to 2024, which is the farthest back I could go under the transparency laws that I found. So, what did I find in 2024? 16 employees had over $100,000 in overtime. Now, I know you guys think that hiring 3 firefighters is going to cure your overtime problem. Overtime problems occur basically for 3 reasons: absenteeism, turnover, and poor management. I'll leave it up to you guys which one of those 3 has occurred. Let's just go over some of these things. Over 16 people over 100,000. Robert Russell, $181,000 in overtime. Dave Bonono, $176,000 in overtime. Robert Russell, $231,000 in overtime. Another guy had $261,000 in overtime. Sergeant Police Figueroa, $176,000. 2 police corporals made more in overtime than in salary, both over $100,000. Now, the mayor will tell you that some of this is reimbursable, which is true. But because things are reimbursable, we still pay for those through our county tax, our state tax, just like the grants that you're talking about, the COG. It's not free money. We're all paying for all that. You guys think that you get a grant, oh, hey, we get a grant, it's free money. It's not free money. We're paying for that. So, now, it's not free money. Okay, maybe where I am. Hold on. Okay, next point. I looked at how many employees there were in 2011, as far as back I could go. Right now, we have fewer residents than we had in 2011. We have 17% more full-time employees. Okay? There has to be a reason for that. I don't know. How can you should have employees there should be some measure of how many employees you have to do the job. I think you're just as bad as the school board building down the road. Okay. Here's another one. I found this laughable. You guys sent a letter to the county saying what a disaster the 0.5% increase in the sales tax was. Okay? I hate to say this, but that's hypocritical because you sent out a questionnaire promoting a 1% increase in the sales tax that you wanted the citizens to get behind. So you criticized the county for 0.5%, and you were proposing a 1% increase in sales tax to take care of the city manager's $1.8 million deficit. The best way to get rid of the city, a third of the deficit is to get rid of the city manager.
Mr. Becker,
I'm not kidding
Mr.
either.
Becker, if you could finish up, please.
Okay.
Please. You're
All
already
right.
at 4 minutes.
Okay.
Please.
I strongly opposed the sales tax 5 years ago. All right? It passed. I don't think that there's many people in this city that think that the quality of life is better now than it was 5 years ago. Traffic, crime, water rates. I've been here 50 years. This is the worst that I've seen this city as a quality of life, without a doubt. And it hurts me to say that. So what I see of this city council doing, I see you guys reacting to problems rather than being proactive. You all were trying to put a Band-Aid on. Now you're trying to put a Band-Aid on the overtime. You have to have a management problem somewhere. You can't have that much money in overtime.
Are we finished, Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Any other public comment? We're going to close public comment, bring it up the dais. Mayor Pro Tem Cash.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thank you all, City of Laverne. What a great time to be in Laverne. We had an amazing time at the Cool Cruise 2026, and I'm happy to announce the Mayor's choice was an amazing Mustang. That's right. It was an amazing green Mustang that was just immaculate.
What year?
It was a 1966 Mustang. I have the owner's information, and I believe it was posted out there, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. So, having said all that to say, it's a great day to be in Laverne. Hope you guys had a great time going out there, seeing it. It was just great to see the families all together. That's important to me. And secondly, graduation's coming around the corner. And, I've been saying this since January. Here we are coming in April. And next month, we're going to see some amazing folks, future leaders, and everything that they do, graduating from Bonita, Damien, and Cal Baptist right there. And here, all in the city of Laverne. Not Cal Baptist. Come on. The one, no, the one on Damien. The one on Damien. Cal Baptist. Yeah. Calvary Baptist. Yeah. Calvary Baptist. Yeah, that's right. Yes, Pastor Lincoln. Calvary Baptist School. It's K through 12. And Pastor Lincoln, God bless him. I'll never forget him when I was out there. He blessed me, so thank him for that. So that is what I have today for you, amazing mayor. And this Friday, I will be going to the San Gabriel Valley Vector Control Board. Don't forget Tip and Toss. And I'm trying to have some representative come out to the city of Laverne, kind of just discuss this new wave, biting flies, and everything else that we're about to see. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Biting fly.
Appreciate you.
Councilmember Lau. Biting flies.
Yeah. Wow. How do you follow up biting flies?
I don't know.
So the Tri-City Mental Health Authority held a meeting a couple weeks back, and they did decide on a consultant to assist with their social media to get more information out there to folks about the services and the resources they provide for the cities of Laverne, Pomona, and Claremont. So if you aren't following them on Instagram, I highly suggest that you do. They are trying to get more folks engaged. I also brought this up at the last meeting that there are community well-being grants up to $25,000 that are being awarded. Applications are open to organizations until April 13th at noon. So for more information on that, you can go to the Tri-City Mental Health Authority website and fill out the application. So a lot of different organizations within our city have been recipients in the past. YFAC was a recipient one year. Bonita Unified has been a recipient other years. So this is a great way if you need money for your organization to further well-being and wellness. Take a look and see if you would like to apply. 4th of July is also right around the corner. So if you have not already been taking a look, we are getting ready for all of the fun things that we prepare for every year, including the fireworks show, the parade, and all of the good stuff, but we are also going to be doing a lot of the things associated with the Liberty Bell. If you're interested in participating, let us know. We're also looking for sponsors to help make the event happen. And then last but not least, the ULV Scholarship Gala, which raises money for student scholarships, is taking place on Saturday, May 2nd. It will be at the Sheraton in Pomona. And I just wanted to say thank you to both police and fire for their generous gifts to the silent auction. So for those people who are interested, the silent auction is open even if you don't go to the gala. So the silent auction will come online 2 weeks prior. You could win a day with our lovely fire chief. You could win a day with our lovely police chief. You could win a 4-person dinner at the firehouse with LVFA. I don't know what they're cooking. You'll have to talk to them about it. Or you could win an afternoon with Tupelo, where you get to learn how to give some commands to Tupelo and talk to Corporal Weinreb about how he works with Tupelo during his day-to-day activities. So take a look for that. I will share more information as it gets closer, but some good prizes for some good things. And so, again, thanks to Police and Fire for your generous contribution. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Councilmember Lau. Councilmember Crosby.
Thank you. I had the pleasure of attending Foothill Terraces Mobile Home Park and their public safety meeting, where their keynote speaker was Fire Chief Coatney, and he brought ambulance operators and the firemen as well there, and really talked about our safety and safety for the residents there as well. So appreciate Chief Coatney doing that, but also our residents at Foothill Terrace, where they have quarterly their public safety meetings and bring the fire or the police or really talk about neighborhood watch things there. And I always get invited, so I appreciate them doing that. I got update on the ASA on April 19th at 12:30 is the T-ball, the little people, the little guys, the ladies, because it's boys and girls out there. At 2:00 it's the minor division, and at 3:30 is the major and juniors division. So I want to thank tomorrow Congressman Cisneros is going to be at our public safety office at 1:30, and he is bringing a big check of $1,031,000 to help renovate our public safety office. So thank that. On Wednesday, this Wednesday, Pomona Valley Transit Authority meeting will be in here at 5:00, which I'm part of as well. And then Councilmember Lau, the 4th of July parade applications are now open as well. If you want to be part of the parade, those applications are open. So please get your group and in there for the parade. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Crosby. Councilmember Johnson. You can talk now. Your wife left.
She ran out. She knows when to leave. I have two members of our community that I'd like to remember. Daryl Brandt passed away.
I didn't know that.
He was part owner of JBJ Ranch with my father and my older brother. When that business closed, the city received a few smudge pots from the Grove,
which I have one,
and
those are good. Those are cool.
Yeah, and I remember many of December days lighting those smudge pots to keep the fruit from freezing. And secondly, my cousin Mark Putnam, who's an Army vet, remembering him as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just a couple real quick comments. I know that, Mr. Becker, you had stated a number of things. Our council, when we took over, many things needed to be changed. Conditions of certain funds and things were not kept up to pace. We also had a thing called COVID that pretty much shut everything down in 2020. And I think we immediately, when elections had happened in 2022, we changed our management, and we were very fortunate to get an extremely good manager, along with existing management and assistant manager and our department heads. Our council works very closely together on any of these situations. We don't take any rate increases lightly. Unfortunately, we did not keep up with the pace of our rates. We've even had rates that needed to be increased on certain things that some of our residents turned down. And now they're complaining about how it looks because we couldn't afford to pay for the watering and the upkeep. So we're running very efficiently. I would say that as a council, we get along very well. We all are in different aspects of life. We all have different jobs. And we work very well together. But it takes a team to make this stuff happen. And we don't look at short-sighted improvements. We look at long-term investments and long-term solutions. It just takes time. It takes time to turn a ship in a different direction when it's been going in one direction for many years. And not to fault anyone for that, but as the time changes, our general fund changes, our funds that are coming in changes, they all change. We have to move with those changes. And we try to do it with the utmost respect to our community, to our residents, also to our employees. It's not an easy thing. I challenge anyone to come up here and put the time of hours that we put in to make sure that our community is kept up, kept safe, to keep fire, police, public works, our finance departments, our community services, our parks and recreation, and parks and rec, community development. We run a very, very tight ship. We have great management. We have great attorneys that keep us out of trouble. But at the end of the day, it takes a village to do this. It takes input from our residents, but it takes a council that's dedicated. We put in countless hundreds of hours on multiple committees to make sure that we are doing the right thing for our community with great input from many different sources. We're doing a lot of things that we never did before, and those changes will continue. But it takes direction from a good council, from good management. And I appreciate everything our council does, our manager does, and all of our city departments. And I don't take those comments kindly. We work very hard for that. I challenge anyone to do what we do at the dais here. And if anybody wants to run for an election, we have 3 of us up coming in November. I challenge anyone to put the kind of hours that we put in to make sure that our community is taken care of. And I take offense to that. With that, I do want to say that we did lose a band of brothers, Carl Bauer, the last few weeks. Bless and rest his, may he rest in peace. He was wonderful. He was always there, always friendly, always funny. He will be tremendously missed. And our hearts and prayers go out to his family. And we will do a special closing. I just wanted to make it known that we're very sorry to see him pass. Our next regular scheduled meeting in City Council is scheduled for Monday, April 20th, 2026. Closed study session start at 5:30 p.m. Regular meeting will start at 6:30 p.m. Also, please join us at our virtual community forum on Tuesday, April 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. As a reminder, all of the upcoming events and the craft fair is at the community center, Sherry, on April 11th. With that, our next meeting is April 14th at 6 o'clock p.m. We are adjourned at 9:22 p.m. Thank you all for being here.